Okay, thank you, Dr. Joshi. And thank you all the faculties and students for the research. यो रिसर्चको कुरा गर्दाखेरि कहिलेकाहीँ मलाई एकदम रमाइलो लाग्छ के मेरो नेपाल सरकारसँग काम गर्दा प्रहरी सेवामा 25 वर्ष मैले बिताउँदा चाहिँ टेक्नोलोजी र मान्छेको कुरा गर्नु पर्थ्यो भने अहिले डिजिटल टेक्नोलोजी प्रोग्राममा आइसकेपछि मदन भण्डारी विश्वविद्यालयमा कहिले बाँदरको पछि लाग्नु परेको छ, कहिले दुम्सीको पछि लाग्नु परेको छ, कहिले चाहिँ त्यो च्याउ खेतीमा यस्तो गर्ने भन्छन्। यो चाहिँ बडो रमाइलो हुँदो रहेछ, एउटा नयाँ डोमेन नयाँ संसारको डिस्कभरी भएको छ भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ। यो रिसर्च एकदम इन्ट्रेस्टिङ छ। हामीले खास प्रमोट गर्न खोजेको चाहिँ इन्डस्ट्रीमा गइसकेपछि इन्डस्ट्रीमा जानुभन्दा अगाडि हाम्रा विद्यार्थीहरूले बजार बुझुन्, मार्केट बुझुन् र जुन प्रविधि उहाँहरूले सिक्नु भएको छ त्यो प्रविधि खालि किताबमा मात्र सीमित नरहोस्, रिसर्च लाइब्रेरीको घरमा गएर नबसोस् भन्ने हाम्रो उद्देश्य हो। त्यसकारणले sometimes I used to call myself a pracademic. So pracademic is a concept that I go to the research and do research and I bring that research to my practice and vice versa. So हामीले त्यो प्रयास हामी त्यहाँ गरिरहेछौँ र यसै सन्दर्भमा now I'd like to invite one of our esteemed faculties, Dr. Anupama Shrestha, and student Ms. Sabnam Subedi. What drives the people behind the university? Let us hear what motivates our faculty and student to contribute to Nepal's economic growth. Now I invite Dr. Shrestha, Assistant Professor of Organic Agriculture, and Ms. Sabnam Subedi, a student from the Master of Light Science in Organic Agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. Once again, namaste, good morning. It's my pleasure to share my journey as a faculty member at MBUST. On May 5, 2023, just a year ago, I received my appointment letter, and now it's a full year has been passed. And even before joining as a faculty member, I had an honor to serve MBUST as a consultant, contributing to its initial foundation and working towards its vision of becoming a world-class university since 2022. Today, I also represent all of our academic faculties here. Well, from day one, I was deeply impressed and inspired by vision of our university, MBUST. Its mission, its vision, and its mission to contribute to an economic revolution captured my attention. And I was inspired by its zero corruption approach and emphasis on research. So today we have great, well-equipped laboratories where allowing us to conduct research and produce outcomes that gives us innovative solutions, problem-solving solutions, and tangible products. At AMBUS, both faculty and students are driven by shared mission to turn knowledge into action. Faculty are motivated by highly impactful research that we are doing. All of our faculties are conducting research that are impactful for the social, economic transformation of our country, Nepal. Well, from lab to the community, we strive to contribute to the economic development of Nepal. Now we have taken the first step toward becoming the world-class university. This journey, as it seems, was not easy. Facing different hurdles like bumpy roads and limited resources. I must share, a few months back, we had a road blockade for a month. Then we all academicians, students, and our staff commuted to our university through Chandragiri cable car. The experience was really thrilling, but also tiresome. Yet the challenges have taught us resilience and gratitude. And stepping forward towards becoming the world-class university, none of this would have been possible without the teamwork of our faculties, AMBUS staff, all the stakeholders involved. Their support and dedication have made my and our journey at MUST truly meaningful. And I'm very proud to be part of this privileged family. And I had a very good experience as a faculty to supervise and teach our students to solve the real life problems that our community faces and to give the results that are really impactful for our country, Nepal. So finally, I would like to conclude my experience sharing by a poem by Robert Frost that the woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, miles to before go I sleep. Thank you very much.
Good morning and namaste to everyone present here. Respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, my fellow students, and all the guests. It is truly an honor to be standing in front of you at this prestigious international conference under the visionary theme, Embossed First Step Toward the World Class. As a student of Masters in Organic Agriculture at Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology, I feel proud and deeply connected to this journey because I have witnessed the first-hand transformation this institution is undergoing. So today I am here to share the glimpse of that transformation through the lens of a student. When I first joined Embossed, I came up with a curiosity, a strong desire to become a researcher and contribute to the sustainable agriculture in Nepal. But what I found is just more than a university. I found the space that encouraged the critical thinking, innovation, and solving the real-world problem. I found the mentors who not only care about the academic performance, but also about nurturing the purpose and potentials. What makes Ambassador truly world-class is, of course, its infrastructure and syllabus, but the main is the vision that embraces the inclusivity, international collaboration, and different type of interdisciplinary learning. During this time, I had the opportunity to attend the various conferences, various seminars to connect with the expert, and even today, standing here in this prestigious conference, these are the moments that shape us not only as a student, but also as a global citizen. I strongly believe that we students are the most important stakeholders in the Embossed journey to become a world-class university. So we must rise to the occasion. We must do our research with relevance. I also, at the same time, I would like to, me and my generation, the emerging mind of this university, would like to the emerging mind of this university look up to the respected authorities here with hope. We hope for your continuous support to do more type of research, for more type of learning environment, because your vision leads the path we walk on. So today I speak not only for myself, for every student here in this world who have the big dreams. Let us be the ambassadors of the Embossed excellence. Let us take this value into our work, our communities, and in future. So at the same time, I'm proud to be a part of this journey, and I'd like to say that Embossed is not only moving toward the world class, Embossed is becoming a world class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ashrestha and Ms. Subedi. What a beautiful poem by Robert Frost. That exactly applies to, I guess, all of us who commute every day through the Chitlang Highway, about 30 kilometers a day. The roads are awful, but we need to travel. I don't know what happens in the monsoon season that is coming up, but nonetheless, we have miles to go before we sleep. Now, let's hear from one of our collaborators that we did since last year. So let us now hear from industry partner actively working with the university. Please welcome Mr. Deepak Pandey, Chair of Larke Himal Jadibudi Udyog Private Limited, to speak on the ongoing collaboration between Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology and his enterprise. Mr. Pandey, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to Larke Himal Jadibudi Udyog, a company deeply rooted in Nepal. Our tradition focus on wellness, quality, and innovation. Our guiding mission is nourishing life every day. Larke Himal is one of Nepal's leading manufacturer and export of herbal product. We focus on creating high-quality herbal, vegan and natural care product and beauty, wellness and wellness product. Our products are all backed by research and carefully crafted to support everyday health and well-being. Next. What sets us apart? We follow a strict quality standard at every step, from growing herbs to manufacturing. Our facility meets CGMP guidelines. Sorry. Our facility meets CGMP guidelines, and we have a strong quality partnership with Madan Bhandari University to ensure scientific validation and quality assurance. Mission and vision. Our mission is to bring the power of nature to people's lives. We want to create products that are safe, effective, and natural, while staying committed to sustainability, ethical sourcing, and transparency. Our vision is to become a trusted name in the health sector in Nepal and worldwide. We aim to lead with innovation, expand globally, support our local communities, and help people make better natural choices for their health, beauty, and wellness. Resource and development. Our R&D team is the heart of what we do. We use modern tools like HPLC and SPLC to ensure product safety, purity, and quality. We focus on advanced herbal formulation, natural ingredient extraction, new delivery system using innovation technology, sustainable farming solution using herbal and microbial inputs. This mix of traditional knowledge and modern science help us create a product that truly works for beauty and wellness. Product range. We are on the verge of developing over 50 products, including beauty and wellness products, along with personal care and other products. All are made with Himalayan herbs and a strong focus on quality and purity. MOU for technical collaboration. On August 7, 2023, we signed a technical MOU with Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology. This collaboration helps combine academic knowledge with practical industry experience, creating a strong base for innovation and international growth. Collaboration highlights. Here are some collaboration highlights between Larke Himal and Ambust. Testing of essential oil compounds, research on best harvest times, a hydrodistillation setup installed at Ambust for scale of research, rosemary cultivation at Ambust premises. This step shows our sure commitment to deep research and real-world results. Relationship between Larke Himal and Ambust. Partnership. Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology and Larke Himal Jadibiti Udyog Private Limited has a collaborative partnership. Roles. Larke Himal Jadibiti Udyog acts as the industrial partners, providing practical industry insights and opportunities for research applications. Ambust functions as the technical partner, offering scientific knowledge and technological supports. Technical discussion. We are constantly exchanging ideas with Ambust on herbal product testing, regularity standard, eco-friendly packaging and research, and how to bring together Ayurveda and modern science. New technology for harvesting, cultivation, and extraction. Together, we are working on solutions that are not just effective, but also sustainable. Lab utilization. We are also planning more structured laboratory collaboration to better test ingredient, improve extraction methods, and develop new formulation. Clear testing standard and joint research projects are already in motion. Students' internship. We truly believe in sharing knowledge. Larke Himal and Embossed are in collaboration to provide scholarship to students in the field of herbal sourcing. The next, product formulation, quality assurance, marketing, and research. This gives students a real-world experience and a chance to grow their careers in the herbal and Ayurveda fields. Support Ayurveda and cosmetic studies. We are also helping Amboss create a whole Ayurveda and herbal cosmetic curriculum, including expert-led lectures and workshops, a research project with our R&D team, scholarship and training, and plan to set up a dedicated herbal research center. This will help shape the future of herbal science in Nepal. Thank you. Thank you for your time, for believing in the power of nature. Together, let's keep nourishing life every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey. Now, let's move on to the next presentation. The partnership thrive when industries and academic collide. It's a serendipitous discovery. So when two minds interact with each other, we generate ideas. To speak on the potential of broader collaboration between industries and the university, we now welcome Mr. Birendra Pandey, first Vice President of the Confederation of Nepalese Industries, to give his speech. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and very good afternoon to everyone. I'm wearing the hat of Confederation of Nepalese Industries today. I'll just briefly let you know about what is this Confederation of Nepalese Industries and what we do. It's about 23 years old now. We are the professionally led apex body of industrial community of Nepal, and we represent manufacturing as well as service industries. And we play the leading role in the industrial sector of Nepal to make it vibrant, resilient, and globally competitive. And also we contribute about 60 to 70% of total revenue collection of the government. So we collectively, our members, we employ about 130,000 people. And at the center, we have 150 plus large industries and conglomerates. And in total, across the nation, we have around 7,000 plus member industries in our purview. We are represented by all 7 provinces. And at the secretariat, we are 29 professionals at the secretariat, and more than 50% are the female employment, so it's trying to be more inclusive as well. Regarding our category representation, we are represented in diverse categories like manufacturing, agriculture, construction, education, IT, automobiles, and all that. And our administrative structure, we have a general body, a national council, have around 50 plus members at the national council, office bearers, around 9, including president and 7 vice president and the director general. And we also have a governing council comprising of past presidents and senior industry leaders, and the secretariat which runs the SO. What we do, we actually promote investment and export, raise clear voice of industrial and economic community in Nepal. We also try to serve our members and safeguard their rights, and create an environment for industrialization. We provide constructive feedbacks to the government, backed by research and evidences. And we also promote corporate governance and also entrepreneurship through learning. We also organize startup fests every year. And we have around 23 committees in various sectors, like industries, infrastructure, BFIs, tourism, and also health, education, and entire, So these are the committee structure. And we have national and international collaborations with various organizations. And we also advocate for industry-academia relations, which is the topic of the day, because when we come closer, we understand each other and work in collaboration so that the economy we can support the economy as well as the industries and the students and academic institutions as well. Overall, it can support research and development. We can also work together in curriculum design and come up with the industry issues and industry problems. We can work together in internship and training, skill development, and faculty exchange. And also, as we work quite a lot with the government in policy advisory role, we can work together in specific areas in that area as well. And with CNI and AMBUST, so we can work together in industry and academia research, joint research and development program led by AMBUST as well as participated by our industries in relevant fields. And also human capital development. We can co-develop curriculum aligned with the industry needs. You can share the industry experiences to the university as well, and then vice versa. And also entrepreneurship and innovation. So these are the broader areas of potential collaborations, what we can do, including internship and policy research and advocacy. And we also have CSR fund for our large industries. We can work together utilizing those funds as well. So looking at mapping the areas we are working with and the focus of our AMBUST, you can see there are 4 committees we can work very closely: an agriculture committee, medicinal and aromatic plants committee, tourism and infrastructure committee, and CNI research cell. So those, and we can work in areas of organic agriculture, biomaterials, forest biomaterials, and the data sciences as well. Regarding the Tourism and Infrastructure Committee, we organize Nepal Infrastructure Summit every 2 years, and we have a lot of insights in that area, as well as we're trying to promote the investment in infrastructure that is sustainable, resilient as well. So in that area, we can work together, as well as we have very strong tourism committee providing policy feedback to the government. We've been instrumental in creating parliamentary committee, and specifically in tourism as well in the last few years. So we can really work very closely promoting the tourism space, including joint projects of eco-friendly tourism infrastructure, research and various tools, internship, and also the support tourism strategies. And regarding the organic agriculture, we have agriculture committee and various industrialists who have invested significantly on the agriculture, especially in organic agriculture. So we can work very closely on that, and also work in policy alignment, value chain development, strengthening farm-to-market systems, youth engagement, and also market access. Regarding the medicinal and forest biomaterials, we can probably work together in a joint research and product development. We have seen a lot of research activities is happening in this very infant age of the university, is very promising and commendable. And we can, as an industry partner, we can probably work in support of that as well. Regarding the data sciences and artificial intelligence, we have quite an effective research cell within CNI, doing research on various economic agendas, and we publish quarterly and monthly reports as well. And across all the 23 subcommittees committees that we have, it provides the cross-cutting information and research insights to all those committees. So this research cell is quite influential, as well as it has a lot of wealth of industry information and issues as well. So probably we can work together in enhancing those by adopting the data science principles of data sciences, and also engaging our students there. So it's basically, just to summarize, so there's a lot of areas that we can work very closely and together, but there's a skill gap that we maybe want to bridge and create employability to the graduates, and also improve curriculum aligned to the industry needs. Driving innovation within Nepal, this is very important, because when we study abroad or in other universities, we probably take the case studies of multinationals across the globe. But if we want to be deep-rooted in our nation, and enhancing research and development support, contribute, and probably together we can contribute Nepal's economy by aligning academic output to the industrial needs and upskilling our professionals. So with this, I think my time is up, so I conclude here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey. We're definitely looking for the partnership. Now, we have another presentation from Professor Sriram Ramakrishna. Sriram Ramakrishna, I don't see him. Praveen, can you help me locate him? Okay, thank you. So though we are talking about making Madan Bhandari University world-class university, but the million-dollar question or the silver bullet question is like, when does a university is considered the world-class? That's the question we need to ask. So a university becomes a world-class when its knowledge transforms lives, not just minds. So university is definitely for flourishing the mind, but when it changes the lives, then the university tend to become the world class. So we now welcome back a globally respected academic leader and our trustee. Please join me in inviting Professor Sriram Ramakrishna, Honorary Everest Chair of MBUST, and former Vice President of National University Singapore, to speak on the role of universities in knowledge and technology creation. Professor Ramakrishna, floor is yours. Thank you.
Sorry, you have to listen to me today more than once, but I will try my best to engage you, give some insights, perhaps you may not be directly aware. The title is Role of University in Knowledge and Technology Creation. I was listening to one of the young students of MBUST. She used the word emerging minds, right? I was impressed that she coined a new word. The question is, what is emerging mind? And we understood a lot now. Later on I will actually show, but I'm changing this order of my speech because that word caught my attention. Emerging mind. That means here we have a concept of mind. What is mind? Most people actually have no idea what's mind. And scientists or neurologists, they would more comfortable with the brain. So they would say emerging brain. So let's assume the mind and brain are similar somewhat. I wouldn't go into the detail. For brain to emerge, there are two important processes. One is memory. Second one is learning. So when it is iterative, that's the time the brain actually evolves. Emerging brain. Then we can go to the emerging mind. So for brain to emerge, memory is key. What exactly is memory? That's knowledge, experiences. So the more new knowledge, more new experiences you accumulate, your brain is now populated with that. And when you introduce a learning process, your brain actually emerges. That's basically emerging brain. And of course, in AI, you would definitely say, without memory, that means data, what can you create a learning? What kind of intelligence can you create? So the core of intelligence is basically data, or memory, and learning process, which is basically intelligence. So I will explain those things in my lots of slides. I changed my sequence because I was impressed with that word used by a young student. Okay. So about knowledge and innovation, we take it very seriously in Singapore. Singapore's workforce among the world's most skilled. So if you go by any global database, OECD or World Bank and so on. Why? That's because without knowledge and without upskilling, we would be left behind. And remember I said in the morning, trade is only one area, tariffs, they are competing. But even more deeper competition that is evolving between global West and global East is the science and technology domain. There's immense competition happening on science and technology-based innovation. Absolutely. So a university like MBUS or Nepal, if you're not involved in the creation of knowledge, absorbing the knowledge, and perhaps making that knowledge into innovation, scale up for benefit of the economy, you would be left behind for sure. And the competition is very intense, and it's going very high speed. So I will explain some of those, what I observed. Last time when I first met President Joshi, we were talking about, he actually asked me, give me a real example. You can say a lot of things, but show me one good example. This is the one. About 12 years ago, I established this Solar Energy Institute of Singapore, 12 years ago. At that time, we have no researchers or innovators related to solar energy. Nobody in our university. And when we wanted to establish, even the government leaders were not convinced. The reason is, Singapore is a tropical country. We don't have a high quality sunlight. So they say, how on earth you can actually make solar energy that can serve the nation? So this was the top level policymakers' concern. But at that time I was the dean, so I pushed ahead with the support from Singapore's Economic Development Board chairman, and we actually established this one. The idea is Singapore imports all its energy from outside. At least Nepal, you have a hydropower. We don't actually have any energy source in Singapore. So we import everything. We said, how can we have our own energy source for the national security? So solar is the only one. Nothing else left. Nothing else is an option. So we said we must go ahead because this is about the national security. So we established it. Later on, within 3 years, it has been basically a $3 billion industry. Now it's close to $5 or $6 billion industry in Singapore. It's a very successful story. But what is even more important is it actually changed the way Singapore thinks about energy independence. Total game changer. I will explain. Yes, we do not have a solar energy that is high quality, but technology advancements helps us to generate our own electricity within Singapore up to 5% of the national electricity need. 5%. But that's not enough. So the question is, how else? So now, because we have pushed this solar energy at the time, 12 plus years ago, it built confidence in the system. The business community realized it, so is the government. Now Singapore has a plan, ambitious plan to produce means, I will tell you how, 50% of national electricity from solar energy, 50%. How? Now Singapore actually now setting up solar farms as far away as Australia. It's close to 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers. There would be subsea cables, and the power is transmitted. So is the discussions going on with other ASEAN countries like Vietnam, Thailand. So Singapore is actually investing, and then actually creating our own electricity and bringing it to Singapore. So the idea is, 12 years ago, when this idea was promoted, nobody believed it. But now, almost every government leader say, we actually have a plan for energy security. We have our own growth plan. In addition to that, national companies like Keppel, Sembcorp, they now establish solar farms in other countries. So it's actually became a business. Down the line, I will tell you even more important thing is happening, which is basically hydrogen economy. That's going to come. And you need water and renewable energy like solar energy to create hydrogen. So you start something, it will lead to something else. If you don't start, you're not going anywhere. I think there is saying, right? A long journey starts with the baby steps. If you don't take that step, you will never reach the destination, how far it may be. So take the step. So I think these are the details, but I can show you, for example, with that kind of technologies, you see there solar panels, how we do the coastal, because we need to protect our coastal areas. Singapore's strait is very busy. Every day, thousands of ships come and go. How do you ensure 7/24 hours security of shipping lanes? You know, piracy, all these things are a big problem, pirates. So you have these self-powered buoys, they're there. With big data, AI, they actually monitor our national security on the shipping lanes. And now, I'm not an expert on AI, but one thing is very clear. The AI is basically came forward as a wonderful progress for the humanity. 3 things behind it. One is the neural networks R&D that took place for the last 30, 40 years. Similarly, the big data and graphical processing units, GPUs, like the NVIDIA, that's basically GPU. Because you have these 3 enablers, you have the modern AI revolution. Yeah? So now, the data, you need a data centers. So you see on the left side, data centers, are they climate friendly or actually bad news? Without data centers, AI cannot function, or ICT, information communication technology. So each data center, for example, we have a Google data center in Singapore, is $1 billion, one data center. Not a million, $1 billion. We have a large number of data centers in Singapore, and the neighboring country also has a lot of them now. So on the right side, actually that's one of my projects. We work with data center companies. Next time, if you visit, we can show you that facility, the data center we built in Singapore, our university. Now, I just want to go back. Yeah. The point here is the data centers take lots of energy. And Nepal is a fantastic place because you have a natural cooling, right? My suggestion for Nepal, well, I'm not an expert, but my simple suggestion is, there are people thinking how to improve the energy management of data centers, and you need a cooler place. You have beautiful mountains with a lot of cool conditions like ice and snow. Why can't you build data centers, use satellites to transfer information up and down? You essentially have a global data centers for Nepal as well as rest of the world. You don't need cables. You don't need cables. You have satellites for information transfer. So go ahead and build data centers where you don't need so much cooling. And then you are basically center of the world. And you remember I said both the neighboring countries will generate a lot more data, and they need a third site for security in the case of geopolitics. Yeah? So imagine things that you normally would not consider. You have the best climate conditions. Data centers require that, right? Okay, so the other one is Singapore. I need to promote a little bit. Singapore airport is fantastic, and Changi Airport is #1 in the world. We handle about 70 million passengers a year. Population is only 5 million, but we have tourists, 70 million. 70 million tourists. So that's why it's #1. The point here is there is a growing demand for aviation. So how does universities play a role, or the technology and knowledge creation? Here, you could see, we imagine there is a lot of need for maintenance of all this growing aviation sector. So one of the university, NTU, has a very large aviation program, and they serve the needs. That's how Changi Airport, with thousands of aeroplanes coming in and going, and manufacturing companies like Rolls-Royce there, we support them. So without science, technology, and innovation, I don't think it's possible for us to serve high-tech industry like aviation industry. It's needed. And Singapore is now also home to the largest plant for a sustainable fuel. So the aviation industry want to decarbonize, and they need to use sustainable fuel. So we have a Neste, which is a large company, produces, I do not know the exact numbers, but that's one of the world's largest sustainable aviation fuel business. The feedstock for that is actually waste, food waste, and some other biomass. So you have a lot of that in Nepal. So you could imagine in the future maybe an aviation fuel, which is, it generates higher value for you. Yeah. And then I also believe I need to explain why China able to compete US in the last 15 years on innovation, because they have more number of engineers than you can find in the USA. Lots of them. And you can deploy them very quickly. And you can take any technology, go forward very quickly, because they're basically very well trained in science and technology. Yeah? So that's why you could see their dominance in EV, renewable energy sectors. Now you could see that, yeah, those are the data. Basically, 60% of the world renewable energy, especially solar energy, dominated by them. EV cars, definitely. They are competing very strongly against European, Japanese cars, and of course the US cars. That's only possible because they have a high quality science and technology based manpower. Plus, of course, supply chain, they focused on it and they made it happen. Yeah. But of course, a small country like Singapore, should we give up? I don't think so. So we actually think let the other countries can be as big as they can be, but small country like Singapore also can play a role. So we look at the trends. This is the battery growth, battery industry worldwide. So this is our own team. You can see me there. We developed a solid-state battery. Yeah, solid-state battery. And now it's actually deployed, and I'll show you the results. This is basically safe and high energy density, and that's a startup company we set up. And it's much better in the life cycle. I'll show the results. It has a much longer lifespan than the normal solid-state batteries. Now, we use these batteries for drones in Singapore, drones. And we already have a $10 million investment for this company. Just now I showed you, right, how strong China in this area. So should Singapore give up? I don't think so. That's my point. Let other countries be as strong as they can be. You can innovate. Why not? And this was done completely in Singapore, from our laboratory, from our university, National University of Singapore. I just want to give that example. Yeah, so then you can also imagine exoskeletons. Again, a lot of new things can happen. And this is in China. I'm establishing a big national program there. This is a national hemp. Hemp is just like you have a timber. Hemp is another large crop in northeast China. It's massive. You could actually see that's is massive. It's huge scale. So we are looking at how to find more uses for this waste biomass. Okay. Since the time is up, so we actually go down to the fields and we figure out how to do these things. And yeah, there's a lot of detail. And Singapore also doesn't have any agriculture, but they're innovating on rice. And we have way we help out other countries in terms of sustainable rice. Yeah. And I work with another company, Coromandel in India, and this is about nano-fertilizers using nanotechnology, and that causes greenhouse gas emissions. I think we have 5 minutes or 2 minutes? Done, okay. I'll just go ahead faster so that, okay, we go into the detail. Okay, let's go ahead. So I just want to say this example, that is, you have a lot of opportunity for biotechnology. I met some of the students just now outside. There is something called protein fibers. They're coming. They will replace the current petroleum-based fibers like polyester and nylon. So Japan is doing extremely well in this area. So you could do these things. And also the dyeing, natural dyeings, it's very important. We have a huge project on chemical-free dyeing. So it's again, you could see that. Okay, there are details, I won't go into that. Okay, that's a lot of things. Since I don't have time, I just want to put that point to you very clearly. I spent a lot of time trying to understand what is intelligence, and it's very clear. Intelligence is nothing but an emergent function or ability of certain network neuronal process involving memory and learning. On the left side, memory and learning process are the core functions of the brain, emerging brain or emerging mind, facilitated by neurons and proteins. So for young students at MBUS, all I want to say is find no reason to be more efficient and do less. My suggestion is do more. More means more memory. More memory means you have a chance to process it, then you become more intelligent, more smart, and then you can help Nepal much more and the world. With that, I think I'll stop because there's a lot of detail. These are the technologies. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. There's a lot of excitement.
Well, that was very inspiring presentation, as usual. Research is the game changer approach, and very interesting that hydrogen economy and data center at Nepal, I guess, can play and look forward to. So now, with further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Krishnadas Manandar to share insights from the biotechnology sector and his partnership with the university. He is the former head of Central Department of Biotechnology at the Tribhuvan University. Thank you.
Namaste and good afternoon. I'm thankful to Madan Mandari, University of Science and Technology for this opportunity. I'm talking on the CDBTTU activities and the partnership experience with the members. In fact, this is the story of the small organization institutes, biotechnology department within the very big Tribhuvan University. Going through, briefly, this our department was established in 2008. However, the courses started from 2009 and PhD from 2011 and postdoc 2017. It's a small department, so our faculties ranges from 6 to 12 inch, and ours currently we are the 6 full-time faculty with the part-time faculties and sorry. Will you? Back. First you. No. Okay. Sorry. We got this. We are the first department to get the quality assurance and accreditation certificate by the University Grant Commission, for which we had a strategic plan, and we were focused on the infrastructure, teaching, learning, policy procedure, research objects, student support, and the information technology. However, during the 2017 to 24, this is my leadership tenure, we were focused on the infrastructure, particularly on the instrumentations, because biotechnology is a very costly science to work with, and we were focused on the infrastructure, policy procedure, and then the research project. However, they are interlinked with each other. Okay, for this, sorry. For this, we started our work with 2009, and our infrastructure development ranged from 2018 to 21. We had a very good inflation, or we could enhance the instrumentation with the 93.45 million Nepali rupees. So though it is a small amount for the international arena, it's a good setup within the department. And these are some instrumentation that we have. So this department, we say that it's a kind of the model department in the Tribhuvan University for the biological sciences. This has been supported by the different international institutions, and they are the TOAS, NIS, IFS, and the other different institutions are there to support it. And for that, we are running on the different projects. Now we have 4 international projects and the different other national projects going on with the different interesting topics, like the yeast engineering for the advancement of antimalarial research, and the dengue virus seroprevalence and the genetic diversity kind of the work, which is being supported by the NIS CRED, NIS USA, similarly emerging infections, and then the antibiotics from the Indo-Lichenic fungi. Similarly, we have the other national projects running on the biogas and the viral-like particles as a prototype of dengue vaccines and cutaneous leishmaniasis, food biotechnology laboratory. Meantime, we have been nurtured to have a collaboration with the MBOOS from the beginning So some of the industrial projects running on it are on the development of blast resistance lichens, which has been already mentioned by the students. That is now the skills is being transferred. And then we have the other projects. And these are some of the specific focus laboratory we are having in our department for the strengthening our research work and the teaching learning. These are some laboratories claims of my department or our department. And the research activities, we are working on the dengue. Dengue is the indigenous, very serious concern to the country. For that, initially, we used to send the samples to the Hong Kong and the India and the other part of the country to know the serotypes circulating in the country. Currently, our department, my lab has now established a molecular kit which can now detect the serotypes circulating in the country, and it is very sensitive to the very costly qRT-PCR that we can run in the department. Similarly, this leishmaniasis disease is so indigenous. This is again on this. There is a visceral and the cutaneous leishmaniasis, and this cutaneous leishmaniasis is an interesting disease because it was not prevalent or the indigenous in the country 10 years back or 12 years somewhere back. Now it is a very indigenous and circulating widely in the non-pocky, in the temperate part of the country. So this disease, the people, we do not know what is the etiology behind it. And this etiology was first detected by my department. So this is an interesting result we have. This has been published in the scientific reports, the Nature publications, and it has a good feedback with us. Then after we are working on a project that is the fever of unknown origin, in Nepal, there are about 70% of the cases of the acute encephalitis syndrome, and those cases, those patients were not known about the etiology. So we are working with the NIH projects for this identification of the novel virus, and we got two viruses, human parvovirus 4 and the Zemi-KV virus in Nepal. However, it is in the other part already reported. It is also reported now from Nepal. And we are working on the dengue virus whole genome sequencing. We're using the MySeq Illumina platform that we are having, and it is our proudness that we have that kind of the instrument, and we can work on it in the Nepalese setup. And we are also working on the PLP-based dengue vaccine prototype, and that work is continuing work, and we have achieved some of the results so far, and it is on the end of the project. We are on the process of success. Then after the protein that we get from the VLP that we are using for the development of the kit, lateral flow kit development for the diagnosis of the dengue. And we are working to understand about the immune response of the dengue infection in Nepal, in the peoples, and we are correlating with the cytokines and the immune cells on it too. Where it will help if there is any chances to apply our vaccines, then we can use them. And during the COVID also, we worked well with the good partnership with the local government, and we serve the people and the local people there. And the other project we are working on, the biofuel, Dr. Jarina Joshi is the PI for that, and she came to say that the biogas can be produced even in the low temperature of 15 to 18 degrees centigrade. Similarly, the bacteriophage as an alternative treatment, those phases are being collected from the sewage and the hospital waste which is efficient for the different. And next is the yeast engineering and the antimicrobial work going on and quickly going. And these are the clips, and we are happy to have this kind of the work and this policy and the development. Now, regarding partnership, I will go very quickly. We have done the MOU with the MBoost, and the different aspects of categories. We can do the collaboration with the MBoost. for that, guiding the students, doing the different other projects with the ambush. And this is the initiation of the work we started with the collaboration with the ambush, and this is the part of that one. Quickly, the next project we are working in the cafe that it has been mentioned already, and this is one of the entrepreneurship workshop, and the students here, they are having the different projects in the collaboration. And by this, we are very much happy that Tribhuvan University Central Department of Biotechnology is collaborating with the ambush, and we are encouraged with the close relationship and the very frequent exchange of the skill and the other content with the ambush. Hopefully this will help the ambush as well as the Tribhuvan University Biotechnology Department as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Manandar. I hope our faculties and students are inspired to continue what Dr. Manandar has been doing. Now, to move on, चितलाङमा एकदम क्वाइट प्लेस हो क्या चितलाङ, धेरैजना जानु भएको छैन जस्तो लाग्छ, विद्यार्थी हामी बाहेक। चितलाङ चाहिँ भेरी क्वाइट प्लेस। अनि म 3 महिना अगाडि जाँदाखेरि एकदम क्वाइट प्लेसमा एकदम अचानकसँग एकदम कोलाहल सुनियो क्या, एकदम भाइ बहिनीहरूको कोलाहल सुनियो, के रहेछ त भनेको। अनि हाम्रो शम्भु सरले स्वच्छन्द भैरव भन्नुभयो। अनि स्वच्छन्द भैरव भने चाहिँ मन्दिरको जस्तो लाग्दैन, होइन सर स्कुल भन्नुभयो क्या। त्यो नाम स्वच्छन्द भैरव छ, त्यस्तो भाइब्रेन्ट छ। र उहाँहरूको कुरा सुन्नको लागि म स्वच्छन्द भैरव माध्यमिक विद्यालय चितलाङका उपप्रधानाध्यापक श्री जङ्गबहादुर गुरुङज्यूलाई निमन्त्रण गर्दछु। तपाईँलाई 10 मिनट। थ्याङ्क यू।
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Janga Lama, Assistant Principal of Sri Swachhanda Bhairav Secondary School, Tha Municipality, Ward number 9, Chitlang, Makwanpur District, and local concern, all the great brothers present. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology for inviting me to an important program. Like Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology, first steps towards world class and giving me the best opportunity to present some of my suggestions and guidance. Firstly, the view of the buildings of Madan Bhandari University being constructed within the area of about 180 orphanages owned by our school, Sri Swachhanda Bhairav Secondary School, and view of the study and teaching has made our Chitlang feel that it has added an educational center. So that I will help anytime our ambitious educational journey and educational all program and success ambitious program, all program, I would like thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now our first session has been completed, so we would like to take a question and answer if you have any regarding the presentations. I would like to ask our volunteers to give mics to the respective question.
ओके, यस्तो छ, एउटा प्रेजेन्टरहरूले प्रेजेन्टेसन गरिसकेपछि मेरो थ्योरी चाहिँ के छ भने कमसे पनि एउटा प्रेजेन्टरले 2टा क्वेसन सोधिदिनुपर्छ भन्ने छ। त्यस हुनाले त्यो हाम्रो एउटा स्वागतको कार्यक्रमभित्र पनि पर्छ। त्यस हुनाले प्रेजेन्टरहरूमध्ये जसलाई पनि तपाईँहरूले चाहिँ प्रश्न सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ भोलिन्टियर माइक छ प्रश्न सोधिदिनु भनेको सभाको गरिमा पनि बढाइदिनु हो जस्तो हामीलाई लाग्छ प्लिज कसैले सोध्न चाहनु भएन भने म नामले पनि बोलाउन सक्छु त्यस हुनाले त्यो मोमेन्टबाट जाने कि आफै प्रश्न सोध्ने आफ्नो हातको कुरा हो म धेरैजना व्यक्तित्वहरू देखिरहेको छु एकाडेमिक सेक्टरबाट त्यस कारणले यु मे आस्क श्री रामकृष्ण क्वाइट एन अपर्च्युनिटी टु आस्क हिम उहाँ हाम्रो गेस्ट पनि हुनुहुन्छ युनिभर्सिटीको मात्र होइन हाम्रो नेट राष्ट्रको पनि पाहुना हुनुहुन्छ अरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ हामीसँग यो खानाको कारणले पनि हो भन्ने मलाई लाग्यो सो अब यसलाई फर्दर टाइम वेस्ट नगरिकन यदि कसैसँग प्रश्न छैन भने हामी लन्च ब्रेकमा पनि हामी कुराकानी गर्न सक्छौँ कसैले प्रश्न सोध्न चाहनुहुन्न भने आई वुड लाइक टु मुभ अन ओके अब खानाको कुरा गर्दाखेरि एकदम इन्ट्रेस्टिङ रहेछ म त्यो हेर्न जाँदा यता सकिसक्नु भएछ हाम्रो स्वच्छन्द भैरवज्यूले सो हाम्रो खाना एकदम इन्ट्रेस्टिङ छ रोस्टेड चिकन छ गोस्ट छ त्यसपछि च्याउको तरकारी पनि छ बाइ द वे सो दिज आर द थिङ्स विल बी सर्भ प्लिज इन्जोय द लन्च एन्ड बी बाइक वी विल स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम एट 2 o'clock so would like to see you before that thank you
Good afternoon. Okay, I hope you all have a very good lunch. Now we are going to start our second session after the lunch. Second session about the stakeholder engagement with the Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology. I would like to request everyone outside, please join with us. We are going to start our second session for the stakeholder engagement. Our second session dives deep into the critical role of stakeholders. So without stakeholders, we would not have been in the way toward the first step towards the world-class university. So to start our session, I would like to request our respected professor, Sri Ramakrishna, for the keynote speech on power of collaboration. The power of stakeholder engagement. Professor Sri Ramakrishna. Please welcome, sir. The floor is all yours.
Well, after such a nice lunch, very hard to keep awake. And I didn't have my caffeine, so I will try my best to be very engaging to you. So this is my third speech in a single day. Ambas asked me, it would be nice if we can share my thoughts about this very important topic. So building a world-class university, the power of stakeholder engagement. So, you know, I'm always looking at the next generation. All my students at the National University of Singapore, most of them, they use ChatGPT or DeepSeek or the generative AI. So if I use the same word, stakeholder engagement, ChatGPT actually gives that one. I actually asked the question, NUS journey to the top. How did we go up and who contributed to that? So it says, National University of Singapore has achieved a top global ranking, particularly in Asia, through a multifaceted approach, focusing on academic excellence, research, global collaborations. So this is what the ChatGPT says. So nowadays it's amazing that what you can find, any question you ask. But I realized, actually, that is not the reality. It's far from the reality. Real reason why NUS went to the top is what I wanted to explain. So actually, there are three actors here. One is government, second one is alumni, number three is diaspora. These are three important players for any university to be successful. Whether it is a university in USA or the universities now in Far East. I will explain. Government plays a very important role for enabling the university to go world class, especially in Singapore. For example, about 25 or 30 years ago, our universities almost function like a government department. Every action or every decision we make in the university, it has to go to the Ministry of Education. Even for a promotion from assistant professor to associate professor to full professor, even recruiting someone, it's not automatic. We have to go to the Ministry of Education and the minister has to sign. That was 30 years ago. Then there was a decision made, we should free up the universities from this, what we call unnecessary bureaucracy, or you want to call another term, red tape. So there was a committee that formed by the government. I was member of one of that committee. So after analyzing worldwide universities, key recommendation is give autonomy to the universities. So Singapore government made the decision to give full autonomy on our finances, on our recruitment, on our promotions, even fundraising, fully given autonomy. So many decisions we could do as a university. So the decision to give autonomy comes from the government, and then so government play a very important role. Second one is a preferential funding. So we also have many colleges and universities, including private institutions. Decision also made to give more funding to enhance the global position of our universities. So preferential funding is another important tool the government has. And they could also even provide that impetus to the lending organization, for example, banks, so they could do that. The other one is the higher benchmarks. We went ahead and said, we need to globally benchmark rather than benchmark within Singapore, within Asia, because that means you are limiting yourself. The world is a big place, and we need to benchmark worldwide. So benchmarking involves understanding cost, how to run a university, how much it costs, what the top universities in the world, how much are they spending. You could further convert that into purchasing power parity basis. You have some numbers. So it's the government which did global benchmarking. So we have advisors from the top universities. They advise the government, you must benchmark. And that's what happened. Other one is matching funds. So we understood that time, top universities in the world, they have a lot of endowment. Harvard University is $20 billion, or MIT, $10 billion. Cambridge University, close to $10 billion with a lot of endowments. So we said we should do something similar. Again, government made the decision, you raise the money, we give you more money. Again, government actually told the entrepreneurs, philanthropy people, please donate. And they donated. I think, let me see whether I have that, oh, that's back, okay. Yeah, you see that one? Nanyang Technological University, our competitor, I'm from NUS, that's the other university. See, they received a $110 million gift just 10 days ago. See, from the local entrepreneurs. But they are encouraged to donate to the university. It's the government, tell them, please donate to this university. So we get a lot of funding, donations, which is also facilitated, promoted, advocated by the government. So again, there's a role for that. And maybe I give another example. Yeah. Sorry, I need to go back. I just read, I was in China before I came here. I was coming directly from China after participating in several meetings. So I read in China Daily, it's a Fudan University received 1 billion yuan. So if you want to translate that, that would be close to $200 million. That's a lot of money. That's donated by the alumni, who is behind CATL, the battery systems people use. It's one of the large company. He's an alumni who donated 1 billion yuan, right? So my opinion is that MBUS, even though at the early stage, in the future, you could aspire to be raising lots of such resources. We don't quite know how, but it's a question of looking in that direction. You could see that. Donations in China is unheard. I've been going there for 20 plus years now. 20 years ago, nobody donates money to the university in China. It is not the culture. It's a very common culture in USA, but not in Europe, right? So things can change. So I go back because I need to still keep the momentum here, the storyline. The government also decided to establish what we call science parks or enterprise entrepreneurial hubs. So they are actually co-located next to the universities. So that's also a role for the government. Other one is global partnerships. I used to be the vice president of our university, and we established partnerships with the top universities in the world. I remember traveling with our deputy prime minister. He actually helps, come on, collaborate with MIT. I'm with you. Pick the Stanford University, Berkeley, Cambridge, and several top universities in Israel. That was facilitated by government leaders. We as a university leaders, we also do our part, but we need the support. So that's a strong support in global partnerships. R&D investments, you remember I said there's investments help in improving technology as well as innovation capabilities of the country. And if it is not done, the gap between those at the forefront and reaping lots of benefits, others at the other end of the spectrum, the gap will be even bigger and bigger. And it's very hard to bridge it. So investments, again, a decision by the government. Conducive policies. Here what I mean is this comes to the immigration policies. When you want to bring the talent, you have issues with how long they can stay here, what is their belief systems, spouses, children, and many other things. Tax policies have to be fine-tuned, and government has a role in fine-tuning those policies. Yeah. And the other one is long-term strategy and vision. So if there is a roadmap, even though it may not be followed thoroughly, but having a long-term vision itself is very helpful. This is where I believe these different aspects, a key stakeholder of the universities is the government, and they have a role to play. And I believe a proactive, positive contribution by the government will be a strong stakeholder engagement for the university to progress. So that I wouldn't go into that. The second key actor is alumni. You remember ChatGPT did not identify these people. It just gave some general information. But actually alumni play a very, very, very important role in, as a stakeholder of the university. There are several areas. Alumni are probably the best people for donating resources to the university. You remember, I just now, sorry. You can see, that's alumni. He's an alumni of Fudan University who donated. Yeah. He's also, I'm sure, even though they donated, their sons and daughters probably studied in NTU. And that's why they made a huge donation. Yeah. So endowment is one area alumni can play a huge role. So they are a powerful stakeholder. Other one is engagement. Normally the universities, they are good in what they do, but a lot of areas they're not very familiar. How the industry is working, how the private sector is working, how is the global environment. This is where alumni can bring their knowledge, expertise, insights to the university. And so it is not a small contribution. Other one is employability. I know certain countries, alumni actually helps in creating or recruiting next generation of students, the graduates. Because they're from the same university, they're very familiar, they actually recruit them. And this is what I have seen in Japan, China, and other countries. So even Germany. So employability is another area where alumni can help the university to improve the employability of the graduates, new graduates. The other one is entrepreneurship. Some of the alumni, in our case, they went ahead, they became business leaders. They have a lot of experience. But they reach a certain age, they want to give back. It's not about them. They have experience, they have the connections. So we have an entrepreneurial place where alumni come back and they become mentors for the young startup companies. They play a very active role. And they don't do for money. They have the expertise, connections, energy, and they want to do it. And a huge contribution alumni can do in terms of entrepreneurship at the universities. The other one is enduring connections. This world, everywhere I have seen, if you want to succeed or you want to get things done, you need the network. No network, you can't progress. No matter who you are. You could be strong, powerful, rich, doesn't matter. If you don't have connections, your reach, your impact will be much less. Imagine with all your ability, you have the network, your impact will be even more, for sure. So, alumni play a huge role in terms of enduring connections, because everybody wants to stay connected with their alma mater. And I've seen the power in IITs. They're very strong networks. Same with the Harvard University and other places. So alumni play a very important role in enduring connections. Okay, those are the examples. Now, the third important stakeholder is diaspora. And I think for Nepal, embassies, clearly the diaspora is hugely important. What I understood, 1 in 3 Nepalis are outside. So they are a huge diaspora. It's like Greece. I remember in Greece also they have the same situation. Almost 1/3 of the population is outside Greece, even though Greece is a beautiful country. So is Israel. A lot of Israeli people are outside. So diaspora is extremely powerful and important. In what way? So here are the examples. For example, Singapore, we benefited a lot from the diaspora. So what we call returning talent. Our provost right now, he used to work in Belgium for like 20 years. He worked in IME, which is basically the microprocessor fabrication center. He has 20 years of experience. We have a big microelectronic industry in Singapore. So he come back, he builds a huge research R&D in our university, and he helps. Yeah. So returning talents is extremely important, especially the diaspora has a role to play. Mentoring faculty and students, it means they need not come back, but they have the heart, they have the time, mind share to mentor young faculty and students back home. We do that. I do that in many countries. It's possible. They can. If you approach them in the right way, I think they would do that. The other one is connecting with the overseas institutions. It's introductions. Let's say you want to build connections. You know nobody there. It's very hard. But you have your Nepali diaspora somehow doing something there. If they do the initial groundwork, make the connections, that will help you. So that means the diaspora can play a role in connecting with the overseas institutions. Yeah, that's how we did with Silicon Valley. When we established a NUS enterprise, we want to establish an overseas college in Stanford. But the problem is we didn't have a strong connection. But one of our alumni, he's in Stanford Business School. So he helped us to get that connection so that our students are accepted. And of course we pay for it, but even to get through that in the door, you need that connection, introductions. So, connecting with overseas institutions, definitely. The other one is co-authoring. Now it comes to a different topic. Ranking of the universities, visibility, no matter what we like or not, many of them are based on publications and output. And if you have the right connections and you collaborate properly, publishing is much easier. Otherwise, it's very hard. You may be doing very good work, but the peer review process, the journals may not know you. So they would be more harder on you if you have actually a diaspora who is also doing very well, and they work with you, collaborate with you, you can co-author the papers. Similarly, the patents. If you want to really scale up, exploit the patents, you need the connections in other countries or high-income countries. All these things comes with the difficulties in how do you share the credibility or the credit, how do you share the benefits. All those things need to be negotiated. But the thing is necessary. Then mentoring startups, diaspora can do that. And diaspora, because they're working in that kind of industry sector, or they have more knowledge of a specific domain, they could contribute. The other one is innovation partnerships. For example, you're doing some work here, but for you to do all that work that is needed, you may not have the instruments. Even if you have the instruments, they may not be the latest. Even if they are the latest, you do not know how to interpret the results. So you need these connections. They can help you. So that's where the diaspora comes into the picture. The next one is exchange students. For example, embassy students want to go overseas. If you have a diaspora with a little bit kind-hearted, they will figure out where to provide accommodation for you, how to deal with the immigration issues, or so on, many others. And sometimes it's quite difficult. Since I have time, I'll explain. I used to have she's still my friend. She's the president of a university in China. It's a real story. Her daughter used to study in Singapore at NTU. And one day, I received a phone call from the mother, who is the president of the university. She said, I'm unable to get in touch with my daughter for 1 week. I'm completely, scared. I'm not unable to contact her. And then I asked her what happened. She said, well, she's going to US for some study, and she went to US. My daughter went to US from Singapore. So then what is the problem? She said, that's exactly the problem. She's in US, she's not contacted me for 1 week. I don't know what happened to my daughter. And the daughter is in New York, I think Princeton University, Columbia University. So then she said, I don't know anybody there, so I don't know what to do. So there's already 10 p.m. in Singapore for me. I said, it's fine, give me the details. Then I had to call, first I said, okay, let me try my known people in Columbia University. They said, give us more detail. So I asked the mother, do you have a photo of your daughter? It's unbelievable. She doesn't have a proper photo of the daughter. All the side pose like this, side pose like that. She doesn't have a proper photo. It's unbelievable. So I said, oh, you can't scold the mother at that time, right? How can you not have one good photo of your daughter? I said, fine, we'll figure it out. So give all the details. Then we call the university, but nobody's replying because work-life balance. Nobody replies you. 10 p.m., maybe different time. Then I asked my family members. But my family member, she happens to be a girl, and she's 35. She said, Uncle, you can say all you want, but I'm not stepping out of the house and searching for that girl. I said, why? It's evening, it's quite late. It's not safe for me to go to a neighborhood I don't even know. She said, how do I go? I can't force just because she's my family member. So finally we tracked her down, and then basically this girl went for a holiday from Columbia University. She wanted to watch the Niagara Falls or something like that. So her battery is dead and she has no way to somehow charge it. So she just didn't bother to switch on her mobile phone. It's okay, it's fine. We tracked her down and finally she came back. The mother is happy. But the truth is, if you don't have such connections, how do you take care of your student? That's where the diaspora comes in. You can leverage them. And that is a real story. Then exchange faculty. Again, diaspora, if they have experience, if they're in industry, they can come and share their industrial understanding. If they are working as a professor somewhere, I'm sure they can also participate. Or they're working in a national labs, they would have a better advanced knowledge. They can contribute. So diaspora has a role for that. And launch pads. So let's say there are startup companies here. You want to take them to the overseas markets. You need launch pads. Again, the diaspora would play a role. Other one is matchmaking. It's not for marriage. It's actually for, for example, you want to do fundraising for your companies, startups, or research grants, or you want to apply for international grants. Sometimes you need to know them. I have many students in Singapore University. It's very funny. They never mix with other people. All the Chinese are one side, all Indians on the other side, all the Europeans are one side, and there are subgroups. They never talk to each other. They finish their whatever PhD or postdoc and they go home. Then after a couple of years, they call me, Professor, our government has an international grant call with this university. Do you know anybody? I said, in our lab, we have a member from there. Why don't you talk to that guy or her? He said, I never talked to her in the lab. It happened. There's a guy, recently I was in Thailand. Since I have 3 more minutes, I can tell you this story. So just 3 months ago, I was flying to Thailand because Thailand has another nanotechnology lab. I'm advisor. So I just landed. My former student, his name is Ji Dongxia. He's a professor in Donghua University in Shanghai. He was in my lab. So I landed and he said, I got a message from him. Professor, there is an international grant call between China and Thailand. I know nobody in Thailand. Can you suggest somebody? Of course, he's very fortunate. I just landed. So the guy who received me is the dean of one of the university there. I said to him, there is a grant call like this. Can you help us? He said, okay, no problem. I make few phone calls. By the time I went from the airport to the university, he already identified a collaborator. And I told him, send an email, copy to him, copy me, finish it. By the time I finished my Thailand trip, they already submitted the proposal. Yeah. So it's about the connections. It's a network. It's better to connect, to know the people rather than not knowing people. It doesn't matter whether they're useful or not. That is not so important. So matchmaking is very important. Other one is branding, PR, reputation. I'm advisor to the QS ranking for the last 10 years. So QS ranking depends 50% of the weightage or 40% on reputation. Same with THE. So reputation means they send the survey worldwide and people have to say, yeah, I know this university, yes, I know this particular department or a college. All that input is aggregated and there is a weightage. That's how the ranking is given. It's relative. So if you do not have good branding or PR, you would fall behind. So your diaspora, Nepalis, they can talk good about these institutions. The others would hear. Word of mouth, you build a better reputation rather than being unknown, right? The other one is spotting opportunities for members. You know, there's lots of things that goes on in the world, but you may not be aware. So diaspora can help in spot the opportunities for you. So the rest of it, just some evidences I'll just show you. Okay, this is about how do you get top citations. I was introduced as I get more than 200,000 citations. That's because it's a way of writing paper. You write a paper as much useful to others as possible. If you can do that, people will quote the paper. So second one is, if you work more on new protocols, new procedures, they will definitely cite. Recently, we wrote one paper on Nature Reviews. In 1 year, we already have 250 citations. That's because you write it that way. So the other one, I don't want to go into the detail. Let's see. You remember I said about building data centers in the Himalayas? See the idea there. Could data centers ever be built in the orbit? Some US company, they're trying to do that. Why are they trying to build in orbit? Because space is a lower temperature. And you use the satellites to send information and come back. So that kind of ideas, you can get it from your diaspora because they can see what's going on. They can connect back to what's going on here. They can give you better ideas. Yeah, then there is about, I was talking to Loshan, he's asking me about intelligence, and I basically said, human intelligence is intelligence, but it's limited. There's a lot more intelligence that's there in the planet Earth itself. So we don't quite understand it. So when we define generalized artificial intelligence, it is still human-centered. It's a long way to go. So don't worry, even AI becomes most advanced, they cannot be all intelligent. Okay, so then quantum science, we'd go into that. This is about wealth creation details. Yeah, this is my last slide. That's where I was last week in Guyang. It's one of the province, Guizhou. So I met some of the entrepreneurs, business leaders, and you see there that's one of their rose bark, and they make this anti-aging, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. They're selling it. So when I saw many presentations from the students, I was thinking, all you need to do is you need to plug into the global supply chain. That's all. You already have a lot of things. So I hope all these things will help members. 3 things: government, alumni, and diaspora. Important stakeholders for progress of a university. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shriram. Yes, obviously, definitely, alumni are the best stakeholders for getting support, and all the philanthropic donors out there. I would once again like to request you to donate to our endowment fund so that we can help our students. Now, moving on to our another session for building a world-class university, the power of stakeholder engagement. We'll have a panel discussion now. And firstly, I would like to invite our moderator for this session, Mr. Pratik Pradhan. He is an alumni of Harvard University, former advisor to the Prime Minister of Nepal, editor-in-chief Barak Hari, former editor-in-chief of the Kathmandu Post, Nagarik Dainik, and Karbar Dainik. Sir, I would like to request you to take your seat. Now, I would like to invite our panelist for the session, Mr. Vanu Acharya, trustee and former Auditor General on the role of bureaucracy and institutional governance. Professor Govindaraj Pokhrel, former Vice Chairperson of National Planning Commission on mobilizing broader stakeholder support to realize the university's full potential. Dr. Rajendra Joshi, President, MBUST, on stakeholders' role in building a world-class university. Professor Dr. Sangeeta Singh, Trustee, MBUST, former member of National Planning Commission on collaboration between MBUST and other universities. This panel seeks to bring together key thought leaders and decision makers, including members of our Board of Trustees, to explore how various institutional actors can collaboratively contribute to the development of MBUST as a world-class university. The discussion will be enriched by the insight of our respected panelists, and I would like to hand over the floor to our moderator, Mr. Pratik Pradhan. Sir, floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you are listening me. I'm really pleased to host this session on building a world-class university, the power of stakeholder engagements. And we have a very enlightened, erudite, our panelists, and our MC has already explained who they are and how they are well credited. To begin with, this is the Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology has been a serious undertaking by President Dr. Professor Rajendra Joshi sir. So I would like to start my session with you. You have taken the reign of the university, and then it is a mammoth task, I would say. When you start building this university, you have gone through many problems, and then now you want to build this into a world-class university. What, in your opinion, who are the stakeholders? Because yours being a very new university, who are the stakeholders, and how are you engaging those stakeholders? If you could explain that.
Thank you, Pratik. I would like...
No, my question is to Professor Rajendra Joshi.
Okay.
No, your mic is on, I believe.
It's a very interesting question. Who are stakeholders? Practically, I would say all Nepalese and beyond, because university can make impact not only in the country, but beyond the country. Now, when we started this university adventure, I already knew that If we think that stakeholders of universities are students and teachers, you are not going to make headway in anything. So to sell the idea of this university, the vision of being a world-class university, and not the mission of building prosperous and just Nepal, I had to enlarge the stakeholder dimension to the whole country and diaspora. So the day I was able to actually convince people that this university is not about university, actually about the country, contributing to prosperity of Nepal directly, then we started moving. So who are stakeholders? Practically everyone in Nepal and beyond are stakeholders. It's a question of how much we can grab them, that's different matter. But stakeholders are unlimited.
But how are you engaging with the stakeholders that Professor Ramkrishnan just said, that the stakeholders are the government, they are the diaspora, and who else, the third one? Alumni. You don't have many alumni, so I missed the third point.
We don't have alumni, that's right. But getting Madan Bhandari University of Science and Technology Act, if I didn't talk with stakeholders, that would have been impossible. Because literally I have to convince all parliamentarians, all political parties. And universities, we thought that this university is not needed because we already have many universities. So I spent almost 7 years convincing, talking to stakeholders. That's how finally they accepted that this is a new idea, this is not going to displace, substitute anyone. It's in the interest of country. So how did I engage? It's basically explaining that it's not for me, it's for them. So I perhaps have made thousands of public presentations of my slides. With anyone I meet, I start presenting. That's how I mobilize stakeholders.
Thank you. I'll come back to you again. Now I'll start with Mr. Bhanu Acharya, who has been a trustee. He's also a former Auditor General. And my question to you, sir, is since you have been with the government, you also became the secretary of the government and retired from there. You became Auditor General after that. How does the government see about such universities? What is the attitude of the government? And how do we engage? How do we extract from the government coffer to help something, a novel cause of something like this? How do you see it?
You know, the politics is the master of all the policies. Then you are aware that we are facing instability and transitions during last few decades. Once you have the stable government, that kind of stability, when diminishes, then you can have such long-term policy decisions. Since in last 2 years, when the MBUSD Act was passed by the Parliament, that shows that there is some kind of commitment from the government, from the state. Such a university is the need of the hour or time. Then the Act gives autonomy as well as resources. Even from the perspective of bureaucracy, I must mention that kind of broader objective, that cannot be, that is not.
I believe हामी नेपालीमा पनि कुरा गर्न सक्छौँ. अलिकति नेपालीमा एक्सप्लेन गर्नु अझै बुझ्न सकिन्छ कि?
मलाई के लाग्छ भने मलाई नेपालीमै अझ बढी सजिलो लाग्छ अङ्ग्रेजी भन्दा.
I hope Professor Ramkrishnan and others would bear with us, but if we speak in Nepali, but it is easier for us sometimes to explain ourselves. Please.
ठिक है. के हो भने पहिलो मैले भन्न खोजेको के हो भने जब तपाईँ राजनीति सबै नीतिको गुरु मानिन्छ, राजनीति ठिक ठाउँमा भएपछि, राजनीतिले निर्देशित गरेपछि, गाली गर्यो नभन्नु होला, त्यसपछि मुलुकले अरू सबै क्षेत्रमा गति लिन्छ, ट्रान्सफर्मेसनमा या प्रगतिमा, ग्रोथमा, होइन इनोभेसनमा सबै क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ गति लिन्छ। अब यहाँ हामीले भोगेको कुरा के हो भने हेर्नुहोस् कति दशकको कुरा गर्नुहोस् न, दशकौँदेखि हामी यो खालको समस्यामा रिजाइम चेन्ज होइन गभर्मेन्ट चेन्ज यी सब कुराहरू भोगिरहेछौँ। त्यसको बावजुद पनि जब 79 सालमा यो युनिभर्सिटीको एक्ट आयो, त्यो एक्टले के देखायो भने सरकार चाहिँ अब त्यो यो पार्टीको र ऊ पार्टीको भन्ने छैन। यो सरकार अथवा स्टेट चाहिँ किन पार्लियामेन्टले एक्ट बनाउने हो, गभर्मेन्टसँग मात्रै सीमित छैन। स्टेट चाहिँ यो खालको वर्ल्ड क्लास युनिभर्सिटी बनाउनको लागि तयार छ अथवा त्यसमा अगाडि बढ्न तयार छ भनेर जब अटोनोमस संस्था युनिभर्सिटी चाहिँ बनायो ऐन अनुसार, त्यसअनुसार यी सब कारबाहीहरू अगाडि बढे, त्यसले चाहिँ एउटा भविष्यको आशा चाहिँ देखायो। तर अब हुन्छ के भने म अलिकति ब्युरोक्रेसीबाट आएको नाताले ब्युरोक्रेटिक रोल यो स्टेक होल्डर मध्ये गभर्मेन्ट पनि यो गभर्मेन्ट भनेको पर्मानेन्ट किसिमले काम गर्ने ब्युरोक्रेसी भएको नाताले ब्युरोक्रेसीमा जुन किसिमको भूमिका हुनुपर्ने, फेरि मैले लगेर गाँसेँ चाहिँ इन्स्टेबिलिटी र ट्रान्जिसनमा। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यो लगायत युनिभर्सिटीको काम कारबाही लगायत अरू किसिमको नीतिहरूको इम्प्लिमेन्टेसनमा जुन भूमिका खेल्नुपर्ने ब्युरोक्रेसीले त्यसमा केही धीमापन चाहिँ आएको पक्कै छ। त्यो भनेको के हो भने यही मदन भण्डारी युनिभर्सिटीको काम कारबाहीको सन्दर्भमा पनि अहिले जुन प्रगति 2 वर्षमा प्रगति देखिएको छ, फिजिकल इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरको प्रगति अथवा त्यहाँको लिडरसिपले लिएको कामहरू, फ्याकल्टी मेम्बरहरू, विद्यार्थीहरू सबैले संयुक्त रूपमा जुन रूपमा चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्नु भएको छ त्यो राम्रो चम्किलो किसिमले अगाडि बढिरहेछ। तर अब यही रूपमा यदि हामीले अगाडि बढ्ने हो भनेदेखि जुन हामी वर्ल्ड क्लास युनिभर्सिटीको कुरा गरिरहेछौँ, वर्ल्ड क्लास युनिभर्सिटीको कुरा हामीले मिसन र भिजन एचिभ गर्ने कुराहरूको सन्दर्भमा त्यति सहज छैन। यो अलि टाढै छ। हुन्छ 2 वर्ष मात्रै भयो भनेर भन्न सकिन्छ, 2 वर्ष मात्रै भयो भन्न सकिन्छ। म पनि 2 वर्षदेखि त्यहाँ एज ए बिओटी ट्रस्टी मेम्बरको रूपमा म काम गरिरहेको छु। तर अहिलेको जुन काम भएको छ त्यो सन्तोषपूर्ण छ। तर अब के यही गतिमा हामी गएर जुन हामीले हाम्रो मिसन र हाम्रो अब्जेक्टिभ पुरा गर्न सक्छौँ त? यो प्रश्न चाहिँ बहुत कठिन छ। त्यसैले जति स्टेक होल्डरहरूको इन्गेजमेन्ट, जति स्टेक होल्डरहरूको सपोर्ट आवश्यक हुने हो, त्यो आवश्यकतामा ब्युरोक्रेसीको रोल पनि एज ए गभर्मेन्ट भनौँ ब्युरोक्रेसीको रोल पनि त्यत्तिकै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ। र त्यो महत्त्वपूर्ण रोलमा अब ब्युरोक्रेसीको विभिन्न सङ्गठनको हायरार्की।
I'll come back to you again. I think you have made your point of my question. I'll come back to you again. म एकचोटि सङ्गीता म्यामकोमा आउन चाहेँ। Madam, you have been a trustee with MBUST, and then you are also a professor with Institute of Engineering in Pulchok. I have learned that you have been assisting Madan Bhandari University in engaging with other universities all over the world. So what have been your experiences? And how are they treating MBUST? And what do you think we should do further in engaging other universities with us? What do you think?
Okay, thank you very much for the questions, and thank you for having me in the first place. I think having a world-class university is all about development, let's say. I come from a university which is the top in the nation, but not yet world-class. So I'm still learning what makes a world-class university. So we are all concerned about development. And when we say development, it has to do with economic welfare, societal benefit, but also with ecological sustainability. We need to change to adapting conditions of the world. It's the age of globalization. We are in the 21st century, and societies have been driven by innovation in the first place. We started with agriculture societies, and then we went on to industrialization. Now we are in the age of AI. We already know what are the consequences of industrialization. Now we are in the age of AI. We are enjoying the benefits of it, but the negative impacts we are yet to see. So it has always been that innovation is driving the society, and what drives innovation are the universities. So it's very essential in the age of AI, in the age of knowledge, where knowledge is power nowadays, instead of other things, because it's the knowledge that drives economy and makes it so many-fold nowadays. So all the concepts are changing. So the changing concept needs innovation, needs research, and that is where the university comes in. And universities can play a very crucial role in sort of contributing to knowledge creation in the first place, with technological advancement and so on. It can be an economic driver by means of giving input to the industries with new research and so on. It can be a cause of social transformation. It can also hold environmental stewardship to a certain extent. Of course, policy support and innovation ecosystem is another area where universities can intervene. And I think from the experience that I've had with working with MBUST, I have seen all of these areas being targeted, at least. It is being aimed that the universities will be linked with economic development. It will bring changes in the society. It will also tackle the environmental issues that are there, work with the communities, work globally, get acquainted with whatever is happening on a global scale, and then scale it down to the local economy as well. So that has always been the objective of MBUST, I think. And it has always aimed for strategic partnership with the industries. We also saw the MOUs that have been happening, and it is actually also taking place on ground. I think the teaching pedagogy is also very, very innovative in the sense that it is aiming towards research-based, project-based teaching pedagogy, unlike the conventional systems where we have lectures and so on. I was visiting MBUST day before yesterday, and it was very encouraging to see the faculty and the students staying together and doing a lot of research and learning a lot from this innovative pedagogy that was going on over there. I think what is also important is the innovative infrastructure that needs to be in place, and it is already over there. And of course, faculty with global expertise. So this is where the collaboration with other universities also come in. I think there's a heavy emphasis on having faculty members that have global exposures and that are very well acquainted with the global practices. And they have been on board at MBUST and trying to create a conducive environment in terms of research as well as other areas of intervention. I think one of the most convincing factor for the MBUST is the institutional autonomy that is there. So it's very, so I time and again compare it with my own institution where because of the lack of autonomy, there are so many issues that are there, which, being a member of Board of Trustees, it's very, easy in a way to maneuver through the course and then do whatever is required. So I think it's a very engaging environment already, and I think there's global exposure and there's attempt towards moving in that direction. But what MBUS should still do would be, I think, as Professor Siram already mentioned, have better linkages with the government, with the alumni, as well as one of the other areas that you mentioned, the diaspora. Yes, the diaspora. I already saw some amount of interest created in the diaspora because I was somewhere in the audience. There's one person there who is also interested, to contribute to MBUST, and he's closely watching what is happening over here and whether the platform will be good enough for him to get engaged in future. So I think that is a very interesting and important area. And I think also, I think it's very important to showcase the early successes. We did that today also, to a certain extent. I must say that it was very interesting to hear about the ongoing research areas of the students. This is never done it's not so much emphasized, but I think showcasing whatever is being done is also very important, and being a part of the global network, attracting good faculty and students is still a challenge, I guess, but I think we are in the right direction.
Thank you. Excuse me for my throat. Now I'll go to Dr. Govindaraj Pokhrel. We've been friends for quite some time, and we're working together. When I was with the Prime Minister as an advisor, he was VC of National Planning Commission. So you have the idea of how government makes plans, how government executes plan, and who convinces the government, I'm sorry for my throat, for formulating those plans. So how do MBUST come up and convinces which are the areas, which are the places where the MBUST should be going, with what kind of ideas to convince the government to come further in favor of MBUST and the institutions like this?
So thank you for your question, and also thank you for Madan Bhandari, University of Science and Technology, for inviting me here. I think as you raised, there are many issues in our development process. When we see that Nepalese government on the average invests around 4 rupees 77 paisa to earn 1 rupees. So if you see input and output ratio, it's a huge gap. So that what we call it like allocative efficiency is very low, because government allocates funds, but there are no impacts and outputs as expected. So there are many issues, technical issues, non-technical issues, bureaucratic issues, and policy issues. Being a university of science and technology, at least this university can collaborate with government to resolve those technical issues. I can give you some example, like in Herbal, in one of the very important product available in Nepal, are being transported to the border or beyond the border in trucks. But we can at least process that herbal and extract some sort of liquid from that and reduce the transportation cost. And that has been not done, because it has been like many years we are talking and we are planning that way. So there are, even in development projects, there are many technical issues in case of designing, bridges. So these issues are being not resolved by, still I say, many institutions in Nepal. There is a huge gap between planning and implementation. And those issues are mainly related, different aspects are there, social issues and conflict law, but the technical issues are also there. Like 5 years before, our Prime Minister told us like Nepal entered into the tunnel era. Mm-hmm. But when they wanted to build a tunnel, there were no engineers who can design tunnel, especially in Putwal to Palpa route. So they had to wait. People came from army or from Department of Road, or no consultants were there. So there are many gaps in planning and implementation, and many technical gaps. And university can pitch in there. University can at least demonstrate that we have expertise, we can support the government at least to reduce the this cost of production. Whether it's a service or product, cost of production is very high in case of Nepal, and we are not being competent or competitive in the market, despite having a comparative advantage in tourism, in agriculture, energy, mining. It's because of the lack of new and modern and cost-effective technologies and technical processes, we are not being able to deliver the result as expected. So I think that is what university can have some sort of list, like these are the issues that government is currently facing, and university is here to resolve those issues. Like I can give you another example. When we had an earthquake in 2015, many people in rural areas, they just started to build cement and concrete structure. And we didn't have ready-made, like convincing solution to use and mortar building. There are many designs, but you need to convince the people because technology has to be user-friendly and technology has to be adopted by the general mass. And although we have shown few examples, but that samples were not able to convince local people, and everybody adopted cement and concrete technology despite having so beautiful stones and other architect that we have. So university, that's why they need to find the gap what government plans. And from the government side, because while allocating fund, at least we can think of having adaptive resource activities with universities. And university can also, I mean, when they design their curricula or their syllabus, they should not only think about the university in Singapore or USA, at least see what sort of the issues that government is facing. Because we have huge gap there. We always try to have a best syllabus or best curricula that you can sell in other part of the world. But when you come back to the Public Service Commission and the private sector of our countries, they are actually not getting right people in the market because the syllabus is totally, oriented towards the West or other countries or a global market, not for the local market. So there also, together with university and government can design such types of syllabus so that students after graduating here, they can actually work here very easily. And another is government can also facilitate. I can give you an example, like when we are trying to have a PDA, when we sign Arun Third and Fast Track, and there is no people who can actually design properly. We requested the government institution to send the joint secretaries from Law Ministry, Ministry of Infrastructure. So nobody were confident that this design is good or this contract agreement is perfect. So then we need to hire someone from New York paying per day like $12,000, $10,000. It's very expensive because we have good lawyers, we have good engineers, but how they can be fitted into our context technically. So this is a big gap, and government has also realized at least university can come and present these types of idea then so that government can support universities. Second is as Professor Ramakrishna already highlighted, government can also facilitate to have a partnership. And we did, like when we were designing our heritage here, because many people are here from heritage areas, but we were getting support from India. So they wanted to have their contractor also there. So we had some sort of collaboration with IITs so that the government facilitates to have some sort of collaboration with other universities who are interested in these types of areas. So that type of job also government can handle. Similarly, there are many funding coming. Like some people want to have a core resource like university does. But normally that is not known in the Ministry of Finance. So another example I can give you, this is Tripura Sundari temple in Tripureshwar that was built in the Rana Bahadur Shah's time. So Kathmandu University wanted to build that building, but there was no fund available. And Thai government wanted to help to rebuild, to renovate or to some sort of retrofitting these types of old heritage. So then we facilitated to have that funding to the Kathmandu University so that at least partly they build that one. So that's a, and government had, I mean, without government, it's very hard to do things. But at least to be proactive, university has to be proactive to find because it's a technical university, the technical aspect, the gap in government's planning and the implementation, and how can you influence the government in terms of planning process so that the universities are recognized. I mean, their role is recognized by the government. I mean, that is what we need to do in Nepalese culture. I mean, just giving you a gist, designing curricula, syllabus, finding the gaps in development process, especially technical aspect. And if you have a collaboration with other universities, at least bring government in between so that in future also they know that there is a Madan Bhandari University who can do these types of jobs. So these are the things that university be proactive, find the issues, work with government, I mean,
and convince
to be part of the development process.
Oh, thank you very much. In English, it is called last but not the least. But out here, we have last but the best. So I'll come to Dr. Professor Sriram Ramakrishnan. Professor, you have already said that you have taken the stage 3 times today only itself. But still, I might be having some questions for you. Nepal is an underdeveloped country. And maybe 50 years ago or 60 years ago, maybe we were parallel to Singapore or South Korea. But we are not now. So looking at the problems or our limitations, how do you see MBUST can move ahead? Or even in a macro sense, you can explain or you can suggest to the government how can we utilize our geopolitics, our geoeconomics, and our current situation? How could we utilize that? And before going that, I would also like you to explain what are our existing problems in Nepal in terms of promoting education like this or institution of excellence like this. So these are my few questions. I hope I didn't confuse you.
No, thank you, Pratik. I thought I will not speak too much because time is limited and I must respect the other panel members. They should have more time to speak. But you put me on the spot and you've given me even a bigger platform in terms of the questions. Let me focus more on geopolitics. I'm not a public policy researcher. I'm a pure nanotechnology materials scientist. But still, I pay huge attention to geopolitics because for impactful scientific research, innovation, one ought to pay attention to, as Govindra said, governments have a role, so is other institutions, we must pay attention. I would explain my view about the geopolitics, relevance to MBUST and Nepal.
Yeah.
Before that, I want to say it is an extraordinary effort, even thinking about it and trying to build a world-class university. I have been traveling all the 5 continents. I have visited hundreds of universities at the different stages of their development. Nowhere I have seen such a difficulty as MBUST. It's true, I'm saying, because I have the comparisons. It's really extraordinary effort. And I wouldn't go into the detail, but you can believe me, I truly think it's very most challenging. And all the stakeholders that are involved, I have a deep respect what you're trying to do. And this is what I want to say first. Now the question is, in your extraordinary journey, how can you succeed? One way is to read the geopolitics more deeply, clearly, and take a view. And here is my view. The last 100 years, definitely, the world is much different compared to previous 3,000 years. Last 100 years, clearly, there are a lot of changes, in a way pushed by the European countries, followed the US. But more recently, it's very clear that China is an important counterweight to the Western bloc. And there is this question among the policymakers in Singapore, how long this tension between US and China would last. I thought they will give an answer of 5 years, 10 years. But our political masters, I won't name them, they said it could be forever. Then I asked him, what makes you to say that? He said, go back to Vietnam War time. At that time, China was actually very weak. But Mao said, we'll go for it. So I tend to understand it's somehow a cultural element. I won't give up. I'll fight, no matter what. If we think that is going to continue, that kind of cultural ethos, that means this tension on science and technology competition, basically science and technology-led innovation, growth, and superiority is bound to be there. So that's going to be an important, at least for the next 30, 40 years. Even though Ambassador University, that's going to be there forever, because university where I studied, Cambridge University, is around for 1,200 years. So is many other universities. So even though universities last that long, but the leaders or the current generation would not last that long. It's a matter of finite time. So we take that view. In next 30 years, my sense is US and China would be strongly competing, followed by India is coming up. So Nepal is situated between two important nations in the world, no matter what, next 30 years. And then you have the US there, 3. And what are they going to compete? Science and technology. What are they going to compete is about trade. What are they going to compete is on the influence. And that's where you play a very important role. So Ambas could read this very well and raise support, resources from the support of the government. Second, build the science and technology partnerships. Third, exchange of students, faculty members, that could be nurtured. And even more important is, if Nepal becomes more progressive, national security will be an issue. So the question is, do you have an organization, high-level brains, that develop solutions for national security? And Ambas recruits all the faculty members are PhD and exposed to the most best institutions in the world. Perhaps Ambas could be providing far-sighted views, thoughts, and maybe technologies that helps the national security. It's beyond just military. It's much more than that. I'm not familiar with the landscape, so I can only say from a distance, quick observation, which are the angles Ambas can position itself. It's a small university, it's not a big university. Even if it grows, it cannot be a huge university. That means there's only a few areas with a critical mass it can play a role. That means it would be several few areas it can play a very important role. So one could be that area, the other could be biotechnology. More important, I believe, is the low altitude transportation is going to come. And Nepal is very well situated for that, to exploit low altitude transportation. Similarly, artificial intelligence that require data centers, Nepal. Similarly, hydrogen economy, again, you have water. There's a question of getting that into the global new architecture of energy. So I think there's lots of such areas can be discussed thoroughly, eventually find the critical mass of faculty members and get the support within Nepal and outside Nepal and keep pushing the limits.
Thank you. And before I go to Dr. Rajendra Toji again, I want to share one thing. Like Dr. Bhagwan Koirala, he has started one hospital. It is called Kathmandu Institute of Child Health Care. And he was looking for money, and we were also in several meetings with him. And now, suddenly, he has found one philanthropist, who is Minbahadur Guru, the owner of departmental store Bhat Batini. He has donated 600 million rupees for that hospital. And that hospital is coming up very fast. So my question to Dr. Joshi is why something like that is not happening in the case of another major issue for the society, that is education. And I would also like to know how the philanthropists have approached you, how many of them have approached you, what have been your experiences with them, and how do you want to go ahead in convincing or in bringing this kind of support?
I have to admit that we may not have tried as much I should before saying anything, not justifying what I say. But the difference is funding for charity is different from funding a university. Charity is cause which is near to everyone. If someone does not have money for eating, someone is sick, especially when children are sick, they go to child's hospital. So supporting child's hospital is a lot more appealing. When you talk about university, what are we going to fund? The professors who do not go to classes or perpetually striking students. So the image of universities are not very good in Nepal. Then it's a public institution. Why on earth you have to support a public institution which does not have credibility? So because of that, we have to prove that we are different. Now we are just less than 2 years old. We are trying to prove, but we are not there yet. As I have said at the beginning itself, we have been thinking about going to Minbahadur Gurung, but we have not reached there quite yet. So I think it should be possible to get funding. The reason I am very confident I started this endeavor to go a little bit back. When I was lobbying for passing this act, then people kept asking me, where will you bring money? We are not, probably we will not be in position to bring money. That's why government initially said that we will get money from ADB, which didn't come, then started saying that we will bring from China, didn't come. Then I said to the government, just give me app, nothing else. We will get it done without any government money. So we are betting on government. Government has been generous. I cannot probably say no, but generosity of governments is not enough. But the strong belief I have that we will be able to generate philanthropic donations is because we are doing something for the country. The examples you have already brought here. We were at par with Korea, we were at par with China, we were at par with India some 70, 80 years ago. We are not different. But with China, we are in order of magnitude lagging behind. We are the least developed, least rich among those countries. How did it happen? It happened because we didn't bother about it. So I am always saying that I am taking guilt for whatever happening. I cannot escape by blaming politicians that we became poor. So it's a duty for every Nepali to save their dignity. When I start giving this sort of lecture, including parliamentarians, they get convinced that we need to build a university in Nepal which can uplift Nepal. So, because the reason I said everyone is a stakeholder, if you talk about development of Nepal, that's impossible without building a good university. If I can get across this message, we should be able to raise funding. Now, I think as a public institution, actually we have raised money, 1 crore 25 lakhs. Today it's 1 crore 30 lakhs already raised from 360 individuals. We have not gone as yet to big funding donors, but bit and bit we are moving in direction. And one of the main reasons why we organize this seminar is, conference is actually trying to mobilize resources for the university. And before asking for any money, you have to establish your credibility. This process of establishing credibility where we are. And the strongest credibility we have at this stage is when we say that we are absolutely uncorrupt or totally clean. You cannot give example. I have not seen any public agency person saying that we are absolutely free of corruption. That credibility we have established. We are absolutely independent of partisan politics. We have established. So because of those achievements and other achievements which I highlighted at the beginning, we should be able to raise funds, but we have to learn a lot. There is next session where exactly former Minister of Education of Pakistan will be teaching us how to cultivate donors.
Good. Since we don't have Mr. Mahesh Kumar Bartaula, he's a member of parliament and also chief whip of CPNUML, I had one very crucial question for him, so I will ask that to Dr. Joshi again. I had just visited your university a week back, and the road is so terrible, and no proper car can drive up to your university. And it has been like 2-3 years since you have established it. And I believe even for the teachers, professors, it is very difficult to reach there every day. So what is government looking at? What has been the progress and how long will it take for at least for the people to smoothly ride up to your university? And that had been my question for Mr. Bartola, but since he is not here, I am asking you this question.
Perhaps I may be able to do justice to that question. I started traveling to Chitlang since last 10 years. There is some progress. It used to be single lane road. Now it's double lane already, but it's not black-topped. There is also some progress in terms of allocation of funds. The money which has been allocated will enable to blacktop 3/4 of the remaining road. So there is progress. But the next step is the handling contracts is very difficult in Nepal. If you ask how long it will take, it is very difficult to answer because the Paisipati Nakhu road took 7 years. It's plainly here, that's right. But people say because of the pressure of the university, people are taking a little bit seriously. When I started writing in Facebook that we travel to university every day using cable car, no university in the world, students were feared by cable car. It took some imagination of bureaucrats as well. So how long it will take, it's very, very difficult to say. But with our efforts and with support from the stakeholders, within 3 years that should be built. But I would like to once again commend our students as well, our faculty members, who didn't bother about these difficulties, still travel there day by day. If you have commitment, you can get there. I'm basically saying that if you are Nepali, that road should not be a problem for you because Nepalese are enduring much more difficult roads in Nepal. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me go back to Mr. Bhanu Acharya, sir. I understand that you are completing your tenure with MBUST very soon. So what has been your experience with MBUST? And then what should MBUST be doing in building itself as a world-class university?
धन्यवाद म सजिलो नेपालीमा लाग्ने बनाउँदै नेपालीमै म कुरा गरौँ के हो भने म अलिकति फेरि ब्युरोक्रेटिक रोलको बारेमा 2-3टा कुरा स्पष्ट गर्न चाहन्छु एउटा एक्सटर्नल इन्टर्नल एक्सटर्नल इन्भाइरोमेन्ट न ब्युरोक्रेसी मात्रै होइन कि इन्भाइरोमेन्ट एक्सटर्नल इन्भाइरोमेन्ट र इन्टर्नल इन्भाइरोमेन्ट जहाँसम्म अहिलेसम्मको 2 वर्ष अगाडिदेखिको काम गरेको सम्बन्धमा मेरो अनुभव के छ भने पोलिसी लेभलमा इन्टर्नल र एक्सटर्नल इन्भाइरोमेन्ट अथवा वातावरण ब्युरोक्रेसी ठिकै हिसाबसँग गइरहेछ जहाँसम्म इम्प्लिमेन्टेसनको कुरा छ इम्प्लिमेन्टेसनको कुरामा इन्टरनल इन्भाइरोमेन्ट अब एक दुईवटा केही कुराहरू जस्तो सडकको कुराहरू अथवा त्यस्तो केही कुराहरूमा बाहेक सामान्यतः इन जनरल त्यस्तो ठुलो हर्डल अथवा त्यस्तो किसिमको समस्या छैन। त्यो समस्या नहुनुमा एक दुईवटा विशेष कुरा के छ भनेदेखि जुन ऐनको व्यवस्था र ऐनको व्यवस्थाबाट बोर्ड अफ ट्रस्टीले बनाउन सक्ने ऐन नियम विधान लेजिस्लेसनका कुराहरू छन्, त्यो बोर्ड अफ ट्रस्टीले बनाउँदाखेरि जहाँ अब सबै बोर्ड अफ ट्रस्टीको धेरैको इन्भल्भमेन्ट पनि थियो, त्यो बनाउँदाखेरि के भने त्यसको वातावरणलाई र त्यसको अटोनोमीलाई बचाएर अगाडि बढ्ने हिसाबले इन्टरनल नियम विधिहरू बन्यो। त्यो बन्दाखेरि सायद फङ्सनिङमा सजिलो पनि भयो होला र लिडरसिपमाथि एकाउन्टेबिलिटीको या गभर्नेन्सको इस्युहरूमा त्यस्तो प्रश्न उठेन। अब एडमिनिस्ट्रेसनमा साना ठुला कुराहरू प्रश्नहरू उठ्छन्। त्यो उठ्ने भनेको अहिले तत्कालै एक्सटर्नल ब्युरोक्रेसीबाट त्यो सर्टेन केही कुराहरूमा सानातिना कुराहरूमा इस्युजहरू आउने अथवा के प्रश्नहरू उठ्ने अस्वाभाविक होइन। त्यो तपाईँ जुनसुकै संस्थामा पनि हुन्छ। तर के भने मेजर इस्युमा त्यस्तो समस्याहरू देखिँदैन। जहाँसम्म देखिँदैन र अब कार्यान्वयन तहमा तपाईँले केही कुराहरू सन्तुष्ट पार्न नसकेको कुराहरूमा हुनसक्छ। जहाँसम्म 2 वर्षको मेरो अनुभवको कुरा तपाईँले सोध्नुभयो, बस्नु त मलाई थप अरू बस पनि भन्नुभएको थियो। मेरो आफ्नो शारीरिक कारणले गर्दाखेरि म बस्न सक्दिनँ भनेर मैले उहाँहरूलाई नै रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ। तर त्यो अहिलेसम्मको अनुभवमा जुन रूपमा युनिभर्सिटी सुरु भएको थियो र अहिलेसम्मको प्रगति हेर्दा असन्तुष्ट हुनुपर्ने कुनै कारण छैन। र अहिले जसरी फ्याकल्टी मेम्बर भन्नुहोस्, प्रेसिडेन्ट भन्नुहोस्, त्यो एकाडेमिक काउन्सिल या जति चाहिँ फ्याकल्टीका अरू एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिभ स्टाफहरू हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूले गर्नुभएको काम एकदम सराहनीय छ। अब यस्तो डिफिकल्ट जस्तो बाटोको डिफिकल्टी यो कुराहरू ती कुराहरूलाई झेलेर विद्यार्थीहरूको सहयोग त्यत्तिकै छ। एउटा अर्को इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुरा यसमा यो युनिभर्सिटीमा मैले पाएको के हो भनेदेखि, हुन त अहिले सङ्ख्यात्मक हिसाबले सानो छ, विद्यार्थीहरू पनि थोरै हुनुहुन्छ, 34 जना भनेर आएछ होइन। अब त्यो भए पनि पोलिटिकल हस्तक्षेप, इन्टरफेरेन्स या चाहिँ नि त्यो किसिमको कुरा चाहिँ यो युनिभर्सिटीभित्र, चाहे त्यो विद्यार्थी तहमा होस्, चाहे एडमिनिस्ट्रेसनमा होस्, चाहे फ्याकल्टीमा होस्, चाहे बोर्ड अफ ट्रस्टीमा होस्, कुनै लेभलमा पनि आएको छैन। एउटा यो राम्रो पाटो अहिलेसम्मको मेरो अनुभवमा मैले भएको कुरा र जुनसुकै कुराको डेलिभरेसनमा पनि यदाकदा अब ब्युरोक्रेसी र अरू युनिभर्सिटी जस्ता संस्थाहरूमा कन्फ्लिक्ट अफ इन्ट्रेस्ट हुन्छ सर्टेन कुरामा। त्यो कन्फ्लिक्ट अफ इन्ट्रेस्ट भने ब्युरोक्रेसीलाई उसको अर्को लेजिस्लेसनले चाहिँ अधिकार अथवा रेखदेख गर्ने, सुपरभिजन गर्ने, मोनिटरिङ गर्ने अर्को इन्स्ट्रुमेन्ट हुन्छ उसँग, लेजिस्लेटिभ इन्स्ट्रुमेन्ट हुन्छ, व्यक्तिगत होइन हो। त्यस्तो लेजिस्लेटिभ इन्स्ट्रुमेन्टको आधारमा उसको चाहिँ नि त्यहाँ अलिकति साइलेन्ट हुने या डेलिभरेसनमा भाग नलिने, यस्तो बाहेक अपवाद बाहेक युनिभर्सिटीको अहिलेसम्मको जो भित्रको वातावरण, बाहिरको वातावरण चाहिँ मैले राम्रो, मेरो अनुभवमा राम्रो छ।
We are running out of time, so I'll quickly go to Dr. Sangeeta Singh. You have been associated with both the universities, the oldest and the biggest, and the newest. So what have been your experiences with both, vis-a-vis comparing issues with our resources, technology and leadership and all, and what do you suggest for Ambust?
Okay, I think what I see in Ambust is that it has been driven by a very strong leadership, and it has sort of gone around that, and the challenge is whether this will be sustainable in the long term, whether we are preparing for the new generation to follow the same trends. Because me coming from the conventional universities, I've seen a lot of challenges regarding achieving quality education, quality research, and so on. So the major challenge is in MBUS that I fear and that I see is in the leadership currently, because this has been very strongly driven by Professor Rajendra Joshi, if I may say very frankly. But I look for new faces and search for who are the other eligible people that would match up to him. And that is where my fear is evident, because I know about the challenges that surround an institution. That is one of the areas. Another area which is a bit challenging is regarding the accreditation. And, for example, we are conducting, I can share my own experience in the Institute of Engineering when we started the master's program, and it was called MSc in Energy for Sustainable Social Development. An engineering institution coming up with a course which was called Energy for Sustainable Social Development. So this was in collaboration with the Norwegian Institute of Engineering. It was called NTNU and our institute collaboration. So for 4 years, 5 years, this went on very successfully. But when our products went into the market, they were faced with challenges. They were questioned, are you an engineer or a social scientist or an energy expert? So the multidisciplinary courses, when we introduce them, we face challenges in the market. Unless, of course, if you are an innovator, if you are an entrepreneur, then it doesn't matter. But if you are looking for placement in government jobs or any other related industries, you have a big question. So we are coming up with, for example, masters in forest biomaterials. So where does this stand in the government sector? Organic agriculture, where does this fall? So this is a big question that I think we need to tackle when we go on. Another issue which becomes important is also with regard to patents. It's very, very difficult going through the government channel to achieve patents, and it is a very difficult process. So this is also one of the areas, also with regard to startups. And also in collaborating with other universities, they are always concerned regarding sustainability of the effort that they put into. And most of the time, what they are looking for is sustainability of whatever collaboration they have been having. For example, if you are doing some kind of research, whether you are able to sort of influence policy, or whether you are able to, for example, we built in the course, but it was not sustainable. So that part is always there, and there's lack of government realization of the need of collaboration between the academic institutions and government. That part is, it's always, I've seen that in the government sector, everybody is thinking about having their own research unit, For example, the Ministry of Urban Development, they want to do their own research, have a wing over there and do their research. Everybody is looking after that instead of collaborating with the academia where there's abundance of research. So this part, I think, is a major challenge.
Thank you.
There are some...
We don't have much
the
time.
The internationalization strategy is, of course, a problem also. And, of course, most of the time, there are some restrictive policies regarding visas also. We face a lot of problems when the professors from abroad were coming over here and they were teaching. We had to go through rigorous exercises of attending visas and all these things. So these might come up as a bit of challenge, but I think there are a lot of scopes also.
Let me go to Dr. Govindaraj Pokhrel. He is not only a former vice chairperson, he is also a politician. So, Dr. Pokhrel, how do you convince the political leaders, even your leaders and your collaborators, other leaders, about being the major stakeholders for the institution like this? How do you convince them? Quickly, please.
I think first, let's say two things. What is the demand in the market and what this university can offer? And what is value addition of this university? Because we have Kathmandu University, Institute of Engineering, many universities are there. So what extra value addition this university can bring? What that value addition address the demand of the market? Market like Gen Z, young generation, they want different types
My
of
question
technology.
is, do you think our leaders are capable enough to understand the importance of the
Yeah, of
universities
course.
like this?
There are two things like what leaders want. One is aspiration of new generation, because I don't call it brain drain, brain feel, because they want to feel their brain abroad, not here. So how can we address their demand? Because there's the biggest challenging for politicians. So whether this university can address that challenge somewhere else. Second is productivity, because resources that government is wasting or investing is not bringing any sort of, required output. As you say, because our capital expenditure is very small now, recurrent expenditure going up. So how can we optimize the government resources by addressing those productivity issue? So these are the two concerns for politicians. If you manage to address these two concerns, I think politicians are not that difficult to convince, because they want something new output in the market. And another thing what university can do is, for just two suggestions, one is sandwich program, because that will address the young generation's demand. Because whether you are going to Norway or USA or Germany, so if you have a sandwich program, at least they can have that study also here. And second is, there is a system in between Germany and Denmark, double degree. So you study half of the time here and or half of the time here, or you take some module here and there, and you will be getting 2 degrees from 2 universities at the same time. So same subject. In that way also, like if you have a double degree from 2 universities, same degree, and that will also address the demand of the young generation, and which will be very good for the politicians. And that's why first you build the case. What is the specialties that this university can offer, and what is the gap in the market, and you say, okay, I have this value addition, by bringing this university, supporting this university to build road, to build library, to build research lab, to provide research grant.
Thank you. I will have to stop you
and
there.
And third one is, I think there is a less collaboration between university and private sector. Institute of Engineering, Kathmandu University is doing, and Institute of Engineering very less. Because I was in Surkhet, like a guy is using biogas for this tuk-tuk public transport vehicle. And he's not being able to address the issue there. He always runs and goes to Lucknow or India, although he produces biogas. And I asked him, why don't you cooperate with universities? He said, no, they are always busy in exam and semester exam. Their core areas. So I think that's less collaboration with private sector. You just, rather than coming with your idea, just go there and find their issues. And in that way, then they will cooperate with you.
Thank you.
So that's what I think. If you address the issue of problem of private sector, issue of young generation, and issue of productivity.
Thank you, Dr. Pokhriyal. And I'm sorry that I couldn't come back to Dr. Ramakrishnan. So I'm so sorry. And it is said that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So for the Embassy, this might be the first step. And when the next time we will be meeting for a similar program, maybe we will be talking about collection of billions of dollars for the university, and we will be talking about the next level. Thank you all the panelists, erudite panelists. I'm really thankful to you. And with this, I hand over the mic to, and okay, I'm sorry. There is Q&A session as well. So if there are questions for anybody, please introduce yourself and point the question to whomever you want to ask the question.
Volunteers, please. We have 10 minutes for question and answer round.
My name is Torben Jessen. I'm from the tiny country of Denmark in Europe, and I was very inspired by Professor Shiram's previous presentations. But what causes now not a question but a comment. to your presentation here about geopolitics, where you talked about China and the US, and I thought I needed to raise the flag of the EU and encouraging you to, as a university, to have very close contacts with European universities, because we have this fantastic program called Erasmus. 26 billion euros spent over 5 years on international cooperation. And if there is a cooperation in the EU, they can invite embossed to participate and spend 20% of their budget on the foreign partner. So that would be an excellent way of exchanging faculty, perhaps exchanging students, and definitely exchanging ideas and inspiration. And then later perhaps get one of these more powerful projects with research money in there. But Erasmus is definitely one of the first ways to go. Thank you.
We have another question.
Thank you. I'm Ridaya Bazrasari. I work with University Grants Commission as technical advisor for Higher Education Reform Program. And the presentation, I listened to Sriram's presentation also, and I take cue from that part. You have laid 3 aspects important for this stakeholder mobilization. And Pratik ji, he explicitly asked question to 2 of you, Bhanuji and Govindji. Does government understand this? I think you represent proxy to the government here. Any university that is coming up very fast in many parts of the world, they start with the government. I think Shia's presentation also highlighted that. It was the government which has given a kind of order as well as a kind of support, facilitation, everything to the university. Where does this stand? Because MBUST, if it has to go forward, it needs fund and also task. Where does the task come from? Will the task come from the general market out there in the society? Or does it come from the very well-thought national drive and the task and the fund and so on? I think this discourse is not new. It has been in talk for a long time. And I think Sangeeta madam, she tried to bring this point also there. I would like to hear, is the government ready for that kind of collaboration, for that kind of, taking the role of a key stakeholder? And also a question to the MPUSD. Well, the 3 aspects that Shia pointed out, it's almost like a theory, like a concept. Where are we in terms of, bringing that concept into practice? Are we planning for that in a very specific, explicit way? Thank you very much.
So I think we have had enough of questions. Are we stopping here for the questions?
Yes, we can take one more question.
Okay.
And I would like to request you all to keep a question very specific and short. Thank you.
My name is Nilkantha Regme. I am under the Sustainable and Resilient Infrastructure. And I have few queries to Professor Ramakrishna. As we know, Singapore is often considered as a model of rapid and resilient development despite its limited resources. Could you elaborate on how the country strategically used its local available materials and human capital to drive its growth? And additionally, how has Singapore addressed the inclusion and upliftment of marginalized community through its development journey? And my another query is, in your presentation, you are talking about returning talents, but in the context of Nepal, the brain drain remains a significant challenge. Based on Singapore experience, what strategies would you suggest for countries like Nepal to retain and meaningfully engage their talented individuals? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to add questions from and response from the online, so we need to respect that. We already have a diaspora supporting us, so I'm delighted to announce that we have a diaspora from Australia who would be very happy to support Embust. And we have a question from Dr. Ramhari Lamichhane, which is quite well known. I think he's watching live telecast. He has a question. Embust has committed leadership, which is key for institutional development. However, will it be feasible just running few students, providing research grants from the regular budget? What are the strategies for the sustainability? Are the BOTs aware with the present implementation strategy and the situation? And the second question is much more interesting. Our government is not granting student visa for the foreign students in the diplomatic mission abroad. They are facing difficulties and hassles in Kathmandu. How can we attract foreign students to study in Nepal? I think these two questions falls on the Rajendra sir's portfolio. Thank you, Mr. Parazuli, who is in Australia, Partha Parazuli. So I think the guest can answer the respective questions to the audience. Thank you.
Shall we begin with Bhanu sir, Govind sir, and then Professor Ramakrishnan? Bhanu sir, please.
होइन अरू मैले के प्रश्न पार्न खोज्छु भनेदेखि हामी यो सरकारकोबाट प्रोक्सी गर्न आएको होइन है एउटा कुरामा त्यो प्रश्न पारौँ म बिओटी मेम्बर एज ए ट्रस्टी बिओटीको बोर्ड अफ ट्रस्टीको मेम्बर हुँ त्यो मेम्बरको आधारमा म यहाँ रिप्रेजेन्टेसन गरिरहेको हो म सरकारको तर्फबाट होइन म त धेरै पूर्व 60को दशकमा सरकारबाट पूर्व निस्किसकेको मान्छे हुँ है एउटा त्यो कुरा प्रश्न पार्नु अब सबै कुरा मैले अघि एउटा कुरा के छोएको थियो भने इन्टरनल र एक्सटर्नल कुरा पनि र फर्मल र इन्फर्मल अब धेरै कुरा अब श्रीरामजीले उहाँले पनि कभर गर्नुभएको थियो अब फर्मल र इन्फर्मल दुईटै सम्बन्ध लिङ्केज के त्यो लिङ्केज चाहिँ मेरो चाहना त्यो मैले आफू कार्यरत रहँदा अहिलेसम्म पनि गरेको युनिभर्सिटीको लागि मेरो लागि होइन युनिभर्सिटीको लागि गरेको र त्यसको लिङ्केज चाहिँ फर्मल छँदैछ त्यसको अलावा इन्फर्मल लिङ्केज पनि युनिभर्सिटीको बोर्ड अफ ट्रस्टिज मेम्बरहरूले गर्नु होला मेरो अपेक्षा हो र शुभेच्छा छ जुन कुरा मैले आफूले निर्वाह गरेका थिएँ एउटा कुरा त्यो म भन्न सक्छु अर्को यो प्रोक्सी र मैले लाग्छ यो दुईटा कुरामा
So thank you for question, but I am also not in the government. I was in government 8 years ago. Although my party, where I am a central committee member, and carries a government, I mean we are junior partner in the government, being largest party. So, but I think, as I said, what is the value addition? I can tell you, like Kathmandu University, then was a VC Ramkantha Makazu, came to us when I was planning commission. It was already end of the fiscal year. And he said, please visit our university. So we visited, and we visited their hospital. And he doesn't have any VIP cabin, and so everyone is having same type of food, same menu, everything. It's like a very good hospital. And I asked, what do you need? Very cheap, and operation charge is like 50% of a private hospital, little bit expensive than government hospital. Then I said, I need a MRI machine. So how much it costs? It's 110 million Nepali rupees. So I saw health minister budget, so they could not spend their budget. I gave him that, and he bought that. Because he sells his case and value addition. Because he's I do everything, my treatment. I did my operation of, gallbladder there. It's a very cheap. Like they handle everyone in the same way. There are no VIPs. Even Minister Ramsar Moth went there. He has also same treatment like common man. So why we need extra university dish? Why? What is the value addition? What is the extra service this university can bring to the nation? If you can sell that, I think our Sir Rajendra Joshi is doing very hard, and he is spending his own money from the pocket, I know. But to convince politicians, you need to have something value addition of the university. Because when I was in planning commission, people came from different ministries. Like in Japan, they provide this % of budget to education, and this % to the health, this % budget of the judiciary, And physical infrastructure, like we need to have a middle income country by, then I added it went up 157% of the, budget. So I think that's why the resources are limited in development. For salary and perk to the politicians, and that is unlimited is there. But at least in terms of development, but there is a limited budget. But if you have some case, some sort of a totally different approach than other universities that is being not available in Tiruvanamalai and Kathmandu University. I think governments are not from the moon or other planet. They are also people from the same society. I think they will be liberal to allocate fund. So it needs to be a good marketing.
Thank you very much. May I go to Dr. Sriram?
Well, I think I didn't get your name, but the gentleman from Europe, thank you for pointing it out that Erasmus or such programs are there which are facilitating developing countries. I think, thank you for pointing that out. I'm very sure that the reason I didn't focus on Europe because my time is limited, and Europe is a huge, really diverse place, and I had to really deep dive into specific countries. I don't have the time.
Maybe less important in geopolitics, more important in education.
So I think then there's a question from young person. You have 3 questions. First one is sustainable materials and human capital. Example, we don't have any raw materials, we don't have any agriculture, we don't have any energy, including water, we don't have. Well, all we have is actually human beings. An example of sustainable materials is 99% of the construction material in Singapore is circular economy, 99%. So it's an excellent example of how you could build a sustainable construction. There are more advanced technologies we use like 3D prefabrication technologies. It's actually documented by United Nations. In terms of the human capital, we get the maximum out of them. And you also asked about marginalized communities. We have a very strong program called Skills Future program that go after, that encourages all diversity of people, and there are many people who are also disadvantaged, and some get retrenched because we are a globalized economy. Many people lose the job, actually. There are companies, industries, they get retrenched. They need to be reskilled, upskilled, and positioned for the market. So that's a very large program, Skills Future program. Our university play a big role as well. So that's, in terms of brain drain, the way we have handled is, the brain drain essentially, you're looking at people who are already fairly successful in their own way in other countries. They're not really looking to make money by coming. They're looking for opportunities to feel fulfilled, meaningful. So that's where there had to be platforms and opportunities for them. So we have provided those opportunities in universities, research, as well as entrepreneurial activities. So they come in and they get involved, and they feel respected, they feel valued. That's very important, because for them, it's like a satisfaction. It's not just about earning a little more money, that they could continue to do that wherever they are. Otherwise, they won't even go there in the first place. So as long as we understand that, I think that could be somehow strategies could be developed which are unique to Nepal, and then give a try.
Thank you, Professor Sriram. Now I would like to request Dr. Joshi, President of Youngbus, to address the rest of the questions, because I don't think any pointed question for Dr. Sangeeta Singh. So address the questions pointed for you, and then conclude the session.
The questions again, because I didn't. Oh, okay. That's great.
Good anticipation.
From Ram Hari Lamithani. YMBOST has a committed leadership which is key for institutional development. However, will it be feasible just running few students providing research grants from regular budget? What are the strategies for sustainability? Are all Board of Trustees aware with present implementation strategies and situation? I think here is already Board of Trustee, he has explained, so I do not need to explain it any further. The second question is, our government is not granting student visa for foreign students in the diplomatic mission abroad. They are facing difficulties and hassles in Kathmandu. How can we attract foreign students to study in Nepal? This, I regret I cannot answer this question also. It is addressed to someone else. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all the panelists. Please give our distinguished panelists member a big hand for this wonderful session. Thank you. Okay. Now we proceed for the tea break for 15 minutes, and we would like you all to be back here at 4:15. Thank you.